Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I woke up a little while ago to see that we have a new Romhack that just dropped. So I just woke up. It's my hair's a little all over the place because sleep, but Hero of Law just dropped. This is an Ace Attorney inspired Zelda Romhack for OOT that I did not see coming, and I don't think a lot of people did either, unless some insiders I don't know about. I haven't, for context, I've never played an Ace Attorney game. I am familiar with the concept, like the whole objection thing, but hair. Never played one though. I know of it. I'm familiar with the general concept of it, but let's see. Hero of Law. We have some settings. It looks like sound, stereo, mono, cool. Check brightness. Distinguish between the 4 shades. Yep. And screen adjustment. I actually already messed with this a little bit just to make sure the screen looked right, so it seems to be okay. I'm not really sure where my camera should go because I don't know what the HUD of this is going to look like, so let's just get into it and see what happens. I might have to move it mid. Game autosaves after each scene. Do not turn off your console during scene transitions. Well, didn't plan on it. Really interested to see how this plays out. People said it's pretty awesome from the ones that have played it already. It's so quiet. It is. Do you think they forgot? Nice red bottle of eye drops. Forget a royal visitation? No one can make such a blunder, princess. Royal visitation. Well, I guess I should just go in then. Oh. Whoa. Cool. Oh! Oh no. Oh no. Was this gonna be like Spooky Murder House? March 17th, 9:37 a.m. Hyrule Grand Court. Defendant lobby number 3. Oh, wow. Court record? You'd think that after so many years of doing this, I'd be used to the stress. This is Link. You press start for history. Oh, okay. Court record. Oh my gosh, the music is cool. Attorney's badge. Proof that I can stand in court as an attorney. Huh. Close. Profiles. Oh, Malin, age 27, a longtime friend and the defendant in this case. Talon, deceased. The victim, owner of Lon Lon Ranch and Malin's loving father. Evidence. Profiles. Evidence. Okay, I got you. Yo, this is crazy. Abuse of the stress. Alright, let's continue. So why am I shaking? Gah, I guess it's a lot worse when it's your friend's life that's on the line. Come on, gotta look professional. She can't see you like this. Speaking of her, though, where is she anyway? Hey, you over there? Huh? What is it, attorney? The trial isn't starting yet. But it will be soon, right? Would you happen to know why my client isn't here yet? I didn't get to speak much with her when she was arrested, so I was hoping I could at least exchange a word with her now. Wahaha. Well, you weren't the only one with the idea. I believe she is currently in the prosecutor's lobby. He wanted to talk to her as well. What? What is up with this guy? He bars me from the crime scene, blocks my detention center visits, and now this? Not to worry, she will definitely be here before the trial. Great, that'll be a joyous 5 minutes indeed. But there's nothing I can do but wait. So Link talking, huh? Interesting. Sometime later. Okay, this is ridiculous. How much longer can he keep her? Ah, see, there she is. No need to get all worked up. Alan, something wrong? Did I hear shouting? So much for looking professional. No, don't worry. Everything's fine. This is Malin. Ever since we met in Hyrule Castle Town all those years ago, we've been great friends. Her heart's in the right place. I know she cared deeply about her father. If everything's fine, why do you look so worried? Well, how did the investigation go? Did you find anything? Yes. The investigation, I found tons of, groundbreaking stuff. Particularly that my opponent's a real scumbag. What did the prosecutor want from you anyway? Well, it was mostly just threats. He kept explaining in detail what'll happen to me if I'm found guilty. Doesn't sound like a vital discussion that needed to happen right before the trial. He probably just did that so he wouldn't have as much time to talk. You believe in me, right? I didn't do it. I'd never. Oh. Well, if, spoiler alert for Spooky Murder House, I don't really trust her that much. Has anything changed in the court record? Alright, so it's the same. Of course I believe you. I don't know. Of course I believe you. Although I'll be honest, things aren't looking very good right now. What's that you got there? Oh, this is just a pictograph of father I carry around. I just can't believe he's gone. Is that evidence? I wish I knew how to cheer her up right now. I'm not very good at handling emotional clients. Hey, you know, that pictograph could be really useful for the trial. Oh, how so? Well, you look so happy together. I can present it to show that you two had a great relationship. You really think so? Well, here you go then. Malon's pictograph added to the court record. At least I'll be walking in there with something other than my badge. Highlighted in red. But wait, we shouldn't just be idly chatting. Anyway, there's not much time left. I know it's hard to talk about, but could you tell me what actually happened? I don't stand much chance if I don't know your version of the story. I understand. Unfortunately, there really isn't much to... The trial is starting. Defendant, attorney, please enter the courtroom at once. Uh-oh, I shouldn't have said that stuff about having no chance. Alright, everything will be fine. The prosecutor has been playing me for a fool since this began, but sooner or later his arrogance will be his undoing. Let's head inside. There's going to be a lot of dialogue reading in this, I can tell right now. My name is Link. I've been a defense attorney for the last 7 years. I've won my fair share of cases, and lost some too, but this one is personal. There's so much at stake here. Not only do I have to save Malon's life, I gotta find out who did this to Talon. Talon. He was always so kind. He didn't deserve this. I need to do him justice. I can't lose this. Justice. Uh-oh. Yo, this is crazy. Court is now in session for the trial of Malon of Lon Ranch. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Yo, his mouth moves too. Dragmire. I sincerely doubt that. What were they thinking, pitting me against some pathetic kid? Oh, I didn't get to read it. Still your tongue. Yo, his face. You bring shame upon the fine color of your hair, vile woman. Before long, the world shall know the horrible deeds you've committed. Let us not prolong the inevitable. Shall we begin? Now, this court is no place to be exchanging insults. Since the prosecution seems ready as well, let's hear their opening statement. The opening statement shall also be the closing one. The girl did it! It's obvious. She killed her own father in cold blood. Also, she could have the ranch to herself. Couldn't wait for the old fool to die naturally, could you? You greedy little rat. Objection! Your Honor, you can't allow this man to verbally abuse a defendant like this. Objection! Ha! She committed murder, kid. She deserves every bit of scorn she gets. I do believe a little less commentary wouldn't go amiss. Bah! I assure you, old man, you will change your opinion once you see all of the damning evidence. Who is this guy? How can he speak to the judge like that? Breaking the fourth wall. Ganondorf Dragmire. Looks like I've been lucky to avoid meeting this man until now. The stories I've heard about him must be true. A boorish barbarian of a man hailing from the Gerudo province. Apparently he prides himself on the nearly clean streak he's cultivated for decades, all while disrespecting everyone in the court, including the judge. I've even heard some attorneys refer to him as the King of Evil. Definitely has that look, at the very least. Who wears full armor in court? Bro, the expressions are awesome. Very well, please present your case to the court. You don't seem to like me talking, so I'll just let the detective present the basics. Bring Impa of the Sheikah Force to the stand. Well, here we go, the first battle. I know Impa, she's quite a competent detective. Which worries me. Please let her have made a mistake just this once. Bro. Oh wow. Nice outfit. Alright, state your name and whatever it is you pretend to do. You never change, do you, prosecutor? Any possible change would be for the worse. Now, stop wasting time. Name and occupation. Oh man. Very well. I'm Impa, head detective of the Sheikah Force, Homicide Division. True for now, at least. Well, what are you waiting for? Start talking. You were the one assigned to this case, so you know all about it. What calamity has befallen our fair kingdom? Still can't be bothered to give a proper opening statement. I suppose I can do the prosecutor's job for him this time, for the sake of an unbiased look. Please go ahead, detective. The incident happened early yesterday morning on Lala Ranch, a local supplier of goods located just south of Castle Town. The current owner of the homestead, Talon, was found dead in his ranch house. A tragic loss for our kingdom for sure. I have seen the man out around Castle Town a number of times, delivering goods. Quite. The owner was a rather important figure in the local community. In any case, we were alerted to the scene of the murder by the Royal Guard, who were there on official business. Official business? What kind? As I understand, the ranch provides the kingdom with vital services. To ensure it is operating as it should, and as a gesture of appreciation, the Crown orders a visitation to the ranch every year. I see. A scheduled annual visit. Continue, detective. When the Sheikah Force arrived, they found the victim bleeding out onto the floor. Next to him lay his daughter Malin, breathing but unresponsive. After a thorough investigation, we arrested her, as she was deemed the only possible culprit. Has anything changed? Oh, we can actually... Oh, wow, we can scroll back through all the dialogue. It's pretty cool. Court record, we have... you can view the pictograph. Nice. Profiles. Judge, age, question mark. Jolly old man who has presided over some of my cases. Ganondorf Dragmeyer, age 59. Prosecutor assigned to the case. Rude to others, easily angered. Impa, age 34. Head of detectives assigned to navigate the case. Or investigate the case. Yeah, that's so cool. Okay. After thorough, she was deemed the only possible culprit yet. That about covers the gist of what happened. Very nice and... I'm actually not sure how to say that. Succinct? I don't know. Keep that up and perhaps you will keep your job. Ho ho. I don't think the good detective here has to worry much about that, given that she is head of the department. Question, highlighted in red. Which reminds me, why is the head of detective herself on a case like this? Were the other detectives unavailable? That would be because I have been assigned to this case by order of King of Hyrule himself. King of Hyrule assigned you. That doesn't happen very often, does it? You are correct, Your Honor. I'm not usually involved in fieldwork like this. This time, however, the king felt it necessary because of who is involved. Who was involved? Is the death of a ranch worker really such a concern for the king? Well, as I said, Lon Lon Ranch is a very important supplier of goods, to be sure. But that's not who I meant. Uh-oh. I imagine the king wanted the top investigators on this job because it was the royal princess herself who discovered the crime scene. Oh, buzz, buzz, buzz. Order! I will have order. The royal princess Zelda witnessed the crime? Ha! And there you have it. This case rides on the princess's own words. To doubt it would be to doubt your own royalty. This is bad. I can't really object to that. Very well. If the princess is testifying today, it's better we don't make her needlessly wait. Detective, please testify about exactly why the defendant was arrested. Witness testimony. The reasons for arrest. It is with regret that I agree with Dragmeyer. All the evidence points towards the girl being the culprit. We determined that the murder definitely took place inside of the ranch house. There were only 3 people on the ranch. The victim, the defendant, and a worker who has an alibi for the time of the crime. The defendant was found unconscious right in front of the victim, who was bleeding out on the floor. Furthermore, she was holding a weapon. Without a doubt, that's what was used to kill the victim. She seems like such a bright girl. It's most unfortunate. Your Honor, I would like to submit these pieces of evidence to the court. First, I have the autopsy report performed by the Crown's top coroner. Autopsy report added to the court record. Here's what we determined to be the murder weapon, which we took from the defendant's hands. Saw, added to the court record. To make sure we had the correct weapon, we conducted a very thorough investigation. Naturally, we searched everyone and thoroughly examined the ranch and in its vicinity. Nothing unusual was found, but to be safe, we also checked the ranch inventory list to see whether anything was missing. The list matches the items we found on the ranch exactly, and nothing but the saw had fresh blood on it. Ranch inventory added. That does sound quite compelling. This must have been a truly terrifying scene. Dying from a wound made by a weapon like this is extremely painful. This only helps prove the defendant's viciousness. Ugh. At this rate, they're going to paint Malin as some heartless monster. There's one more thing I feel I should mention for the sake of completeness. Shortly after we arrived at the ranch, a courier showed up to take some milk shipments. Of course, business must go on. Is this really necessary to enter the into evidence, though? The shipments did end up leaving the ranch, so I feel it bears mentioning. Were the contents checked before you let them go? Naturally. Who do you take us for? Even though the worker handling the shipments did get quite worked up about it, we cracked all the boxes open to check what was inside. In the end, it did turn out to be only milk bottles, so we let them through. Very well. Thank you for your thoroughness, detective. Milk shipments added to court record. So, what happens now? Well, this is where I step in and perform a cross-examination. Ah, great. How does that work? Huh? Could you explain what you're going to be doing? Can't hurt to go over this again. Sure, why not? The witness will repeat her testimony. I'll be able to scroll back and forth through individual statements by pressing A and B or with the control stick D-pad. They'll just repeat it as many times as you want? That's right. I have to consider every little detail. Can't miss a thing. If I want more info about something, I can use L or Z to press the statement and ask the witness a question. Grill them for info. Yep. Since the witness has to come up with an answer on the spot, if they're lying, prompting for more info can make them slip up. Most importantly, though, if I find something that doesn't line up with the evidence, I can press R to bring up the court record. The court record is basically a list of all the evidence, right? Yes. I can open it anytime if I need to recheck the facts. After choosing the contradicted item, I'll press C up to raise an objection and present my doubts to the court. Oh, and I can not only present evidence, but profiles as well. Profiles? The court record contains a list of all the people involved, too. I can switch between evidence and profiles with R. If I need to review what's been said recently, I can also press start to see a history of messages. Ah, I see. That makes sense. Is the defense done whispering? Haha, sorry. If he's so upset about it, why doesn't he just press C right to skip ahead? The defense is ready to cross-examine the witness. Bah. A waste of time. I sincerely hope you're not implying that standard court procedure is a waste of time, Mr. Dragmire. In any case, we're ready, defense. Please begin the cross-examination. I have no idea what I'm doing. Cross-examination. The reasons for arrest. Oh boy. There were only 3 people on the ranch: the victim, the defendant, and a worker who has an alibi for the time of the crime. The defendant was found unconscious right in front of the victim, who was bleeding out on the floor. Furthermore, she was holding a weapon that was used to kill the victim. She looks at a bright girl. So why would she be unconscious in front of the victim if she was the one that did it? So if she got him, why would she be unconscious? So if I press L to ask a question, right? I think. Malin fainted? Mm-hmm. Correct. We couldn't get her to wake for a long time. Eventually we decided to administer a healing fairy so she could be questioned. I guess finding the body was just that much of a shock, huh? Ha! Probably just pretending, trying to make it look like she had merely found the body. In any event... I guess we can ask questions on all of these. Yeah, why not? Hold it! What makes you think she's the culprit? Objection! She's just about to tell you. Keep quiet and listen. Right. Sorry. Indeed. As I was saying. Okay. She goes on to explain why. We determined that the murder definitely took place inside the ranch house. Hold it! I mean, I guess I should be doing this. And just how did you do that? It's quite simple. There was no blood found anywhere else. Had the victim been attacked at some other location, we'd expect a trail of it leading to the scene. Couldn't the killer have just cleaned it all up? Certainly not. The path to the ranch house at Lon Lon Ranch is not paved in any way. Cleaning blood off the ground would require disturbing the soil. Naturally, we found nothing of the sort. Bah. There wouldn't have been enough time to pull that off anyway. Likely true. Right. It sounds like the location of the crime scene is pretty firm. But I'm not giving up yet. There were only 3 people on the ranch: the victim, the defendant, and a worker who has an alibi for the time of the crime. What's the alibi? Did we go over that? Yeah, we haven't been told what the alibi was. Hold it. 3 people, you say? I guess that would have to be Mr. Ingo. Bring him in for questioning. Let me stop you before you start getting too excited. If you would listen to the rest of what the detective said, you'd notice she mentioned an alibi. Indeed. We're pretty certain that the ranch worker couldn't have been involved. Well, what is the alibi then? My question. You might remember that I brought up some outgoing milk shipments. Well, the worker Ingo was in charge of them. He left the ranch house first thing in the morning and was busy preparing the shipments after that. Is that so? Surely he could have gotten away from that for one really quick little murder. Objection. Bah, this wouldn't just be a quick little murder, as you so crudely put it. He'd have to have taken steps to hide his involvement too. There was definitely not enough time for all that. Unfortunately, I agree. Preparing a shipment is a lot of work. You have to milk all the cows, clean all the bottles, pour the milk out into them, arrange them all into crates, and finally load it all up onto a wagon. Usually I had to do it together with Father to finish before the courier arrived. Shipments were already ready when we arrived at the ranch. When we checked the boxes, they were all fully loaded with milk bottles. So this Ingo was able to do the work of 2 people all on his own? Isn't that a bit odd? Objection. Odd or not, he evidently did just that. Clearly, he's a man dedicated to his job. Or perhaps the girl and her father are just very inefficient. This whole thing seems awfully suspicious if you ask me, but I guess I have nothing to dispute it with. Bring him in for questioning. Furthermore, she was holding a weapon, without a doubt. That's what was used to kill the victim. Nice. Question this one next. Hold it. And how can you be so sure of this? Look at the autopsy report. Deep, irregular wound made with a sharp metal object. The saw was the only sharp implement in the ranch house that could produce such a wound. And as I've already mentioned, we also looked closely at all other sharp things on the ranch. None had recent blood on them. That still doesn't necessarily mean the saw was the murder weapon. Maybe the real culprit hid the real one. Objection. Oh yeah? Prove it then. Show us the real murder weapon. Well, I definitely don't have any way to do that. Still, something bothers me about that saw. So you have nothing. What a waste of time. Bro, this is so cool. Well, alright, let's look at some of this stuff. Childhood picture, deep irregular wound made with a sharp metal object. Victim died from loss of blood no later than 8 a.m. Supposed murder weapon found in Malon's hands, clean of blood. A list of equipment on the ranch. Oh. Snap. Date, March 15th, name Ingo. So he's the 3rd person that has an alibi. Rakes 4 pieces, garden hose, buckets, hammers, knives, wood saws. We have 1 wood saw. Saddles, 8 pieces, horseshoes, 28. Axes, brooms, scythes, shovels, flails, trowels, post, pounders, drag harrows, water hoses, wheelbarrows, horse carts, towing harnesses, and cow nose rings. Nice. So I don't really see anything out of place here to my untrained eye. Milk shipments. Some orders of milk that left the ranch a little while after the crime. Still missing. There's a lot of profiles. I don't know. She seems like such a bright girl. It's most unfortunate. She sure is. We've known each other for years. Yet she murdered her father in cold blood. How curious. Perhaps you're just bad judges of character, both of you. No way. Just give me some time and I'm gonna prove it. Do you see anything wrong yet? Well, usually it's difficult to find anything wrong with the basic facts of the case. That said, I do think I saw one small thing. Really? That's great. It sure is, because I've got to poke all the holes I can find before the princess gets here. So we questioned all the points. Do you see anything wrong yet? Well, usually it's difficult to... Oh. I saw one small thing. Okay. Oh, present. Objection. Oh, snap. What do you think of this statement, Your Honor? What do I think of it? Why do you ask? Well, I have this evidence here. Objection. Don't listen to him, Judge. That evidence has nothing to do with what's being discussed. Oh, don't worry. I knew that. Attorneys always seem to ask what I think when they have no idea what they're talking about. Oh. Drat. Well, that was wrong. Okay. What about the pictograph? I don't know. Objection. This evidence reveals a clear contradiction in the testimony, Your Honor. I must say, I can't say I see anything clear there. Bah. The only thing that's clear here is your incompetence. I guess I must be on the wrong track. Consult. So do you see anything wrong in this testimony? Oh. Eh? Me? Yeah, it's nice to put heads together sometimes, you know? Oh, I see. Well, they're pretty sure that the saw is a murder weapon. Shouldn't there be something on it if it was? But I presented the saw. You're right, you can't make a deep wound like that without your weapon being marked in some way. To show that to the court, I think there are at least 2 statements I could present the saw to. Oh. Oh, I have to present... Frick. I have to present the evidence on a certain statement. I see. Okay, so I have to present the saw on this statement. Objection. I'm thinking this is right. Huh, this seems like a fairly large oversight. I just wanted to make sure of something. The state of the saw is currently in is how you found it at the crime scene? That's correct. That's strange. Considering how much the victim bled out and how deep his wound was. Why is there no blood on the supposed murder weapon? Ha! Is that all you have? Huh? Naturally, the prosecution has an explanation for why the saw is clean. Behold! Oh, new evidence. This cloth was found in the defendant's other hand. As you can plainly see, it is stained with blood. The defendant simply wiped the murder weapon in a futile attempt to hide her involvement. Uh-oh. Objection! If Malin was trying to hide her involvement, why didn't she just leave the crime scene? Bah! Obviously, she was trying to hide the body before the royal visitation arrived at the ranch. Unfortunately for her, it just so happened the delegation arrived quite a bit earlier than scheduled. In a panic, she quickly wiped the saw off and pretended to faint to make it look like she just stumbled upon the scene. Yeah. Young lady, things are not looking very good for you right now. The court accepts the bloody cloth into evidence. So, what's the story with the cloth? Well, as I was doing a final check around the ranch, I noticed that part of the fence around the horse paddock was damaged. Not entirely sure when that happened, but sometimes one of the horses just gets a bit too rowdy, you know? Right. Anyway, I didn't want to bother Mr. Ingo about it, so I tried to cut up a new rail by myself to patch it up. But then the saw slipped and I cut my hand open. Oh, goddesses, are you okay? Well, it wasn't that bad. It did bleed quite a lot, though, so I used that cloth to quickly bandage the wound. I was actually going into the ranch house to ask Father to help me with the fence. Ha! A likely story. and impossible to verify now, of course. The Sheikah force had to use a fairy on the defendant to get her out of her supposed unconsciousness. I do have to give her some credit. She is one cunning woman. She knew that would explain a sudden lack of any wound on her hand. Ho ho ho. Why yes, fairies are wonderful. Just the other day I slammed my hand with the gavel and one took the pain off immediately. Great. Glad to know they're used for such important things. But dang it. Too bad there's no way to tell whose blood is on the cloth. I do believe this matter has been settled. I'm ready to call my next witness. Uh-oh. Is that all I can get out of her? You've served your purpose, Sheikah. Be gone. Fine. But you had best treat her highness with respect, or I'll see to it that you spend the night in the dungeons. Do not presume to threaten me, Sheikah. A night of darkness and solitude would be nothing but comfort for me. Is that so? And perhaps we should fill the dungeons with lit candles for the occasion. They're glaring daggers at each other. If this doesn't end soon, we're all in trouble. Order, order. I'm sure we'll treat the princess with utmost respect. You may step down, detective. I love these remixed tracks of like the normal songs. This case has already made me weary with all the pointless jabber. The time is ripe to deal the final blow. I call Her Highness, Princess Zelda of Hyrule, to the stand. Uh-oh. I love the design. She's like a little bit older than like Child Zelda in OOT, but like in between. Is something the matter? Why is everyone quiet all of a sudden? Ah, Your Highness. I believe we're all just a bit uncertain on how to proceed. It is quite the honor to have such an esteemed guest in these halls. Bah! In the face of the law, the princess is no different from a peasant. Name an occupation, now. The prosecution will behave. Prosecution will behave. I will not have any derogatory statements directed at the princess. Derogatory? I simply wish not to waste any more time. We must employ proper procedure. Oh man. It is alright, detective. I believe the prosecution does have a point. In the eyes of the law, we are all equals. On this stand, I am just another witness. I should not be getting any special treatment. Very admirable, Your Highness. We can all rest easy knowing that Hyrule is destined to have such a wise monarch in its future. Yes, indeed. I eagerly await the day when our next ruler takes the throne and reshapes the kingdom in their image. Ugh. You flatter me, prosecutor. Now then, I believe I was asked for my name and occupation. I am Zelda, current princess of Hyrule and heir apparent to the throne. Marvelous, Your Highness. Before we begin, I would just like to know, why were you at Lon Lon Ranch to witness this terrible incident? Ah, it is simple, really. Lon Lon Ranch is Hyrule Castle Town's biggest food supplier. Not only that, but the ranch also equips Hyrule's royal guard with the finest of horses. Every year, the royal family makes a visit as a gesture of goodwill to ensure the quality of the steeds. Wow, I didn't know your horses were used by the royal guard. Yep. We work hard every year to make sure they're in the best possible condition. Father loved to boast about it to the other ranch owners. Ha. Knowing talent, I'm sure he did. How unfortunate the ranch may no longer meet the crown's high standards under new management. The royal family has a backup, I trust. We are looking for one. Naturally, those standards are quite high. Yes, of course. Now then, please describe what you saw on the day of the incident. Very well. Here I go. Witness testimony. The scene behind the door. I arrived at Lon Lon Ranch a little after 8 a.m., accompanied by my loyal guards. I remember being surprised at how quiet everything was. There was nobody there to welcome us. I could sense that something was wrong. I opened the door to the ranch house and went inside. The room was mostly empty. There was a table with some kind of crystal bottle on top of it. I saw that in the beginning, but in front of the table, a terrifying scene was unveiling. The defendant hacked at the ranch owner's chest with the saw she was holding. I was overcome with fear and I screamed. I will never forget what I saw that day. I heard that Talon and his daughter were incredibly kind. I cannot believe she would commit such horrible violence. So you saw it happen? You didn't just discover I thought you just discovered the bodies. What? Oh my, you saw the very moment the victim was killed? Exactly, my thoughts exactly. ... There you go. This is your decisive testimony. As there is no need to doubt the princess's statement, I call for the judge to make a ruling right away. Objection! Hey now, hold on. I didn't get to cross-examine the witness yet. Objection! You haven't, fool, because there is no need. Did you not hear one word of what I said? Objection! Didn't you just say we should follow all the procedures and treat the princess like any other witness? This is the defense's right. You complete... I believe the defense has a point. They do have every right to perform a cross-examination, no matter who is testifying. I was quite looking forward to this part myself. I have only ever read about court proceedings in the Royal Library. That being said, I will not tolerate any reckless accusations towards the princess. I missed the last thing you said. Naturally, Your Honor. Oh, we can say reckless accusations towards the princess. Is that clear? Naturally, Your Honor. How am I going to cross-examine the princess? This isn't going to end well. What's gotten into the prosecutor? That seemed like a rather intense outburst. Well, I do have a guess. Oh? Because of the princess's status, it is possible that Dragmire didn't have an opportunity to discuss her testimony with her. That might mean that this testimony is a surprise even to him. This could be my chance. Before we begin, there is just one thing that caught my attention. I believe the princess mentioned seeing some kind of glass bottle at the crime scene. That would be this, I presume. Why, yes, that is exactly it. What is that? Oh, this is the bottle of perfume that Father intended to give Her Highness when she arrived. He quickly rode out to town to get it at the last moment. We didn't know that the princess was coming instead of the king until only about 2 hours before the visitation. Oh, how thoughtful. He really did not need to bother himself so. As fascinating as this all is, the prosecution doesn't believe it's relevant to the case. Objection. It's good to have a full picture of the crime scene. The defense requests the bottle to be accepted into evidence. Bah. Desperate to latch onto every little thing, aren't you? Whatever. You can add it to the evidence if it'll make you happy. No skin off my teeth. In that case, the court accepts this bottle into evidence. A perfume bottle was added to court record. Now then, defense, bring your cross-examination. Cross-examination. The scene behind the door. All right, we got a questioner. Arrived at Longland Ranch a little after 8 a.m., accompanied by my loyal guards. Oops. Hold it. If these guards were with Her Highness, why were they not called as witnesses? Exactly. We did question the guards, naturally. Apparently, they didn't get to see anything relevant. I was the only one to enter the crime scene. After seeing what was inside, I stood guard and insisted that no one be allowed inside until the Sheikah force arrived. I have read that preserving the scene is vital. Quite correct. I'm sure the guards were absolutely thrilled with this order. Please proceed, witness. Okay. I remember being surprised at how quiet everything was. There was nobody there to welcome us. Hold it. Have you conducted these royal visitations in the past, Your Highness? No, this was my first one. Up until last year, my father was always the one to visit Longland Ranch. However, he decided I had to start preparing for all the royal duties that await me, and so I was to do it this time. You will doubtlessly perform admirably as ruler when the time comes. What happened when you got to the ranch house? I could sense something was wrong. I opened the door to the ranch house and went inside. Hold it. And what then? Stop interrupting and let her get to the point. Defense. I believe I was clear about not badgering the witness. Drat, I need to calm down. The room was mostly empty. There was a table with some kind of crystal bottle on top of it. Hold it. You paid attention to something like that after seeing a murder princess? Well, I spent a rather long time in there waiting for the Sheikah force to arrive. Plus, that bottle is quite beautiful. It just stood out. Telling you, man. But in front of the table, a terrifying scene was unveiling. The defendant hacked at the ranch owner's chest with the saw she was holding. This is the part that's suspicious to me. Hold it. You were there at the exact time of the murder, Your Highness? That is correct. That's impossible. You're lying. The defendant will curb her outbursts. You're addressing royalty. This is really bad. What now? Ask about the crime scene. Ask about what was outside. Accuse Zelda of the crime. Whew. Ask about what was outside. That doesn't really seem relevant. About the crime scene. Where were the victim and the killer at this time? The rancher owner was in front of a little table that was directly across from the entrance door. The defendant was right in front of him and quickly fainted after her attack. A large pool of blood started forming where the victim was. I had a rather good view of the whole scene. Right. It is as unfortunate as it is fortunate that you could see the whole thing in such detail. Now, please continue. Should I ask something else? Ask about what was outside. Are you sure there wasn't anyone else at the ranch, Your Highness? No, the place looked empty. Although I did later see a worker pull up a loaded wagon when a courier came asking about milk shipments. He caused a little bit of a scene when the Shikafur started inspecting it. That worker must have been somewhere else on the ranch, I suppose. The ranch is pretty large. Said worker was inside a building on the other side. It's quite understandable she wouldn't have seen him until later. Drat, this really doesn't give me a whole lot to work with. Should I ask something else? Accuse Zelda of the crime. I don't know what happens if I do this, but... Well, if you were there alone, how can we know you didn't do it? Accusing the princess? Pathetic. The defense is truly grasping at straws. You fool. You think a child could overpower a grown adult? One who does hard manual labor every day? And besides, why would the princess even want to take the life of a measly ranch owner? And not just any ranch owner, one that the crown had most successful business relationship with. Idiotic. Simply idiotic. Well, maybe the crown wanted the ranch for themselves. Has the defense lost their mind? Cease this line of questioning immediately. Perhaps a penalty will disabuse the defense from further unsubstantiated accusations. No, it's fine. No. Then perhaps the defense wants to bid farewell to their head. I hear traitors are dealt with swiftly these days. Ooh. I extend my most sincere apologies. I don't know what came over me. Nonetheless, I believe a penalty is still very much warranted. Oh, no. Well, that was a stupid thing to say. There is definitely something off about her statement, though. Should I ask something else? I've hit everything there. I was overcome with fear and I screamed. I will never forget what I saw that day. Hold it. Are you sure you got a good look, then, Your Highness? You didn't look away in panic? Objection. But the princess was very brave to take control of the situation the way she did. There is no need to doubt what she saw. Ah, yes. I suppose what she did was admirable. If only we'd arrived earlier. Your Highness, don't blame yourself for this. If you'd arrived earlier, you could have been the one that got attacked. Ha! So you would have lashed out at anyone trying to stop you, huh? Despicable. Objection. That's not what she meant, and you know it. Princess, please go on. Very well. This is a tough one. I heard that Talon and his daughter were incredibly kind. I cannot believe she would commit such horrible violence. I can't believe the princess would lie like this. Yeah, it really is shocking. You don't believe her, right? Even if she's the princess, that means nothing. I didn't do it. Trust authority or your best friend. I'll need something very concrete to disprove what the princess is saying. I pressed the wrong button there, actually. I meant to press L for number 7. Trust your heart, Your Highness. You know Malin didn't do this. What nonsense? Her heart? What do you have her organs to what do her organs have to do with anything? Oh, of course. Evidence and testimony be damned, just because we feel the defendant must be innocent. Oh, well, if you're sure, then I declare today's verdict. Have you gone senile, old man? It was a joke, much like the arguments the defense has been presenting. I can't believe the princess lied like this, Megan. Really shocking. Alright, so what evidence do we present? Found clutched by Malin at the crime scene. Supposedly she wiped us all clean with this. Or the perfume. Ranch's gift for the princess, bought just before the crime, found at the crime scene. I'm gonna... I don't know if this is the right thing, but I'm gonna put the perfume forward for this one. Objection. You lie, Your Highness, and I have the proof. Could you be any more rude? This is royalty you're speaking to. I'm getting lectured on rudeness by this guy. Well, let's see what it is you're waving around. It's, this... Ah, you're rude and wrong, it turns out. Defense will abstain from belligerent failures. I'll have to rethink this. We're not doing good, guys. The defendant hacked at the ranch owner's chest with the saw she was holding. Overcome with fear and screamed, never forget what I saw that day. Really is shocking. Something very concrete to disprove. Arrived at Long Line Ranch a little after 8 a.m., accompanied by my loyal guards. Oh, no later than 8 a.m. on the autopsy report, but she says a little after 8 a.m. Uh-huh. The autopsy report says no later than 8 a.m., but she says she arrived at the ranch a little after 8 a.m. I call lying. I'm going to present this. I hope it's right. Objection. Your Honor, Your Highness, I believe I found something that doesn't quite match up with the facts. How dare you question the princess? This is... You will let the defense speak, prosecutor. I think I see why he so desperately wanted to prevent this cross-examination now. Your Highness, you stated that you arrived at the ranch shortly after 8 a.m., correct? I'm smart. Yes, the visit was scheduled for 8:30 exactly, but we were quite a bit early. I see. That makes something you mentioned quite impossible. As stated by the autopsy report, the victim definitely died before 8 a.m. You couldn't have seen the defendant attack the ranch owner when you arrived, because the victim was already dead by then. Order. Yes, you really caught her in a lie. Your Highness, what is the meaning of this? While I wholeheartedly respect and serve the crown, I will nonetheless not tolerate lies in my court. I have not lied. I suppose I did not see the exact moment it happened. See? I guess I only thought I did. Princess, this is a matter of life and death. I definitely saw the defendant there, though, along with the body. There is no one else who could have done it. I remember all the other details correctly. The body's on the floor, the pool of blood. You have to believe me. That face is sus. Perhaps it'll be best if Her Highness revises her testimony. Ugh, that's not good. There's still not enough doubt to overturn this testimony. I'll have to find something else, or this case will be over. Oh, another testimony. So I have to catch her another lie. What I actually saw. Oh, God. I'm sorry for embellishing the truth a little bit. I did not see the actual moment of the attack, but it had to have happened shortly before I went into the ranch house. Miss Malin and her father were the only ones at the scene of the crime, so she must have been the culprit. I see. You only saw the aftermath of the scene, not the actual crime being committed. Very well. Hopefully there are no issues in your testimony this time. Defense, it's time for your cross-examination. Naturally, Your Honor. Dragmeyer still looks pretty angry. I bet he didn't expect such a blatant contradiction to pop up. If I could just find another one like that, the princess's testimony would become completely untrustworthy in the eyes of the judge. We only have one heart left. Cross-examination. Oh boy, what I actually saw. Alright, so let's question these. We only have 4 options to go through this time. Hold it. Why did you do that, Your Honest? There's a life on the line here. I really am sorry. I suppose I got a bit too excited about being a witness in the actual murder trial. Really now? Most people hate testifying. Yes, well, the life of a princess is rather boring, you know. This is quite the break from the routine for me. Should just get a hobby then. Okay. I did not see the actual moment of attack. Hold it. In that case, it can't be conclusively proven that the defendant did it. Defense, did you exhaust your singular brain cell on the last contradiction you found? There's a Death Mountain's worth of evidence pointing to the defendant. Just because no one saw the actual moment of the crime doesn't mean anyone else couldn't have done it. I think you're making a Death Mountain out of a Death Molehill. I love this. But it had to have happened shortly before I went into the ranch house. How can you be so sure of that, Princess? Well, when I entered the ranch house, the victim still had the murder weapon embedded into his body. What? It is obvious what that means, is it not? The killer did not even have enough time to try and hide the weapon. Yes, I might not have seen the murder firsthand, but I must have been very close to doing so. Oh my, this seems like a very important detail. I think it would be advisable for Her Highness to amend her testimony. Certainly, Your Honor. Interesting. Dragmire certainly doesn't look very happy about this development, does he? Thinking about it, I might just know why. Because if the weapon was still in the body, then the evidence that it was found in her hand is not true. The murder weapon was still stuck into the victim's body after all. That doesn't necessarily mean that my client was the one to do it, though. What if someone else snuck in before Malin and the princess arrived? Well, I suppose. Objection! All our ranch is surrounded by high walls, and the only way in is through the self-locking gate. Not very many people have a key to that gate, just the personnel and the crown. Well, someone could have forced their way in. Objection! Bah. If you wish to propose such a possibility, you must substantiate it with evidence. Do you have any proof that another person showed up at the ranch house before the princess? Do I? Alright, let's look at the history. Do you have any proof that another person showed up at the ranch house before the princess? Alright, I feel like I don't. But if I say I do, I feel like I might get a heart taken off. And I guess if I say I do and I actually don't, I don't. I don't have anything of the sort. There must be another angle I can attack this from. Very well, witness. Since the defense has wisely chosen to stay silent, please continue your testimony. Okay. Miss Malin and her father were the only ones at the scene of the crime, so she must be the culprit. Hold it. Are you sure Malin was the only person there other than the victim? From what I recall, there's an upstairs room at the ranch house. What if someone was hiding in there? Objection. Don't be stupid, defense. If someone was hiding up there, the Sheikah force would have found them. I stood guard at the door the entire time. No one could have left. What if they jumped out a window? Do not be ridiculous. Those windows are very high up. Actually, those windows can't even be opened. They'd have to break one to leave. Right. Well, this is a little more plausible than the last testimony she gave. Yes, I suppose it matches the detective's account, doesn't it? Still, I feel like something here sticks out like a sore thumb. Something here sticks out like a sore thumb? This one right here. So this was supposedly found in her hands, but supposedly now, according to this new testimony, it was still in him. So I'm gonna go with this. Present. Objection. I believe I found another reason to doubt the witness's words. Ugh. It seems the prosecution sees what I'm getting at here. There was a bloody cloth discovered at the scene of the crime. The prosecution has argued before that it was used to wipe the saw clean. If the princess saw the saw lodged in Talon's body and the crime scene was left intact, then it couldn't have been wiped. Well, Prosecutor Dragmire, care to explain? Grr. This is most perplexing. Your Highness, are you sure that's what you saw? I... Well, maybe the princess decided to pull the saw out in a valiant yet futile attempt to save the victim? And then wiped the blade clean? That would be almost like framing the defendant. Of course I did no such thing. I made sure the crime scene stayed intact. I guess I must have made up the memory about the saw sticking out of Mr. Talon as well. Brother. Judge. She's disqualified. You idiotic girl. Ooh. Do you even realize what you've done through your bumbling? I'm sorry. I was just so excited to stand as a witness in court just this once. Whenever I try telling my father about anything, he always seems so disinterested. Just this once, I wanted to feel listened to. The defendant, it is clear that she did it. Oh, I just wanted to play a larger part in her capture. I'm sorry for the trouble I've caused you all. I think you should leave. Your Highness, the court is no place for silly games. As it stands, I'm afraid we will have to strike your statements from the court record completely. Yes, I did it. The prosecution lost their key witness. I'm sure they have another trick up their sleeve, though. No, please wait. I have more to say. I was wrong about the crime scene, but I still have not testified about what I saw afterwards. Bah, why would we care about that? It's best that you leave and stop damaging my case with your idiocy. Even if you are not interested in my words, you might be interested in the evidence I found. Uh-oh. What? Huh? Evidence? Of course. While the Sheikah force investigated the inside of the ranch house, I looked around the rest of the ranch on my own. So she lied again. She said she didn't leave, or she didn't leave until they got there. Sheikah, did you know about this? Of course I did. You did? I'll have your head for this. Order, order. What is the meaning of this, detective? Why have you withheld this from the court? It's quite simple. The princess specifically requested to present her finding on her own. What? And you agreed to this? This court is not some playground where children decide what evidence should be presented just because they have a crown. He's being rude about it, but I can't help but agree with Dragmire on this one. Also, I don't really buy this story. There's no way Impa would have allowed this. Believe me, I wasn't thrilled with the request either. However, after seeing the evidence in question, I didn't think it would be at all important to this case. Thus, I let the princess have her fun. This is highly, highly irregular. I'm not sure how to feel about this. Prosecutor? Bah, naturally, I object to this nonsense. The detective thinks it's irrelevant, then this is probably just a waste of time. All the evidence points to the defendant. It's still clear she did it, even without a witness at the scene. I see. Defense? What do we do? If we object to presenting the evidence, then Dragmire loses his key witness. Plus, whatever the princess presents could be bad for our case, too. So we should agree with the prosecution? Well, on the other hand, we don't really have much to go on. This could be our only lead left. Well, don't keep us waiting. Surely you won't throw away all the progress you've made thus far. What do I do? If we object to presenting the evidence, then Dragmire loses his key witness. Plus, whatever the princess presents could be bad for our case, too. On the other hand, this could be early. Surely you don't throw away the progress you made so far. If we object to presenting the evidence, then Dragmire loses if we object to presenting the evidence, then Dragmar loses his key witness. So if we object to the evidence, then Zelda's off the table. Plus whatever she presents could be bad for the case too. So we should agree with the prosecution. On the other hand, we don't really have much to go on. This could be our only lead left, highlighted in red. Oh man. I say we request the evidence. We only have one heart left though. So if I don't know what happens if like we fail. Oh, you know, it says it's saved after each scene or something like that. So we'll request the evidence. That's what I feel like we should do. I really hope this is the right choice. The defense requests that the evidence be presented. What? While I agree that the situation is irregular, we should still examine all evidence available. It would be silly to dismiss it as irrelevant, even without seeing what it is. I do believe you have a point, defense. However, I must warn you, in order to admit this piece of evidence into the court of record, the princess's statement that she found it somewhere away from the scene has to be admitted as testimony. Yes, Your Honor, I am well aware. The defense wishes to give the princess just one more chance. Of all the idiotic, foolish... Order. He's not very happy about that. Very well then. Your Highness, please testify once more about the new piece of evidence you found during your own investigation. Thank you. I will not let you down this time. I promise. The princess should understand the gravity of the situation at hand now. I just hope this new evidence isn't damaging to our case. There's a lot more to this than I thought there would be, to be honest. Another testimony. My findings. I wish to express my heartfelt apologies for my mistakes in the earlier testimony. Upon entering the ranch house, I saw the defendant passed out in front of the victim, who was bleeding out. I stood guard at the entrance of the ranch house until the Sheikah force arrived. Once the Sheikah started investigating the crime scene, I decided to take a look around the ranch. While I was walking near the silo, I noticed a strong odor in the air. I had to stop to see where it was coming from. I followed the scent and found a burned out fire nearby and a small, nearly empty bottle of lamp oil. I, of course, took the bottle straight to the head detective. And here it is. The oil bottle I found. Is something wrong? Oh no, this might actually be completely irrelevant. Yes, well, of course there is, foolish girl. Oops. Of course there is, foolish girl. That has nothing to do with anything. Your finding is some random fire on a ranch? Please. What next? Are you going to declare every rake on the premise suspicious? Well, the prosecution will call down. This is bad. Your Honor, despite the fact that this evidence might not seem to add anything to the moment, the defense still asserts the right to cross-examination. Some straws have to be grasped. Objection. Why must you insist on this charade, defense? The princess has merely recounted the same view of the crime scene as the head detective. You haven't been able to find any contradictions in her statements. I believe there might be a way to tie the princess's new evidence into the case. Ridiculous. Regardless of what the prosecution thinks, the defense does have a right to cross-examination. The court admits the oil bottle into evidence. Oil bottle added to court record. I just really hope this isn't a complete waste of time, defense. For both your own sake and your clients. How are we going to tie this to the thing? My findings. Alright, 7 more points to question. I wish to express my most heartfelt apologies for my mistakes in the earlier testimony. There's no need to press the princess on her apology. You already wasted the chance to throw out her testimony. Yes, defense. Please get to the point. Yikes. Alright, so I guess we gotta be careful not to lose a heart in any of these questions either. I saw the defendant passed out in front of the victim who was bleeding out. Was there anything else in the room? Only the beautiful little crystal bottle I mentioned before. The house was rather barren. Most of our things are on the top floor, since the downstairs room is mostly used for ranch business these days. And the occasional game. Of course. Dad's famous cuckoo game. The good old days. Is the defense done reminiscing? There will be plenty of time to do that when the defendant's behind bars. I was just trying to distract myself from the fact that there's nothing to latch onto here. I stood guard at the entrance of the ranch house until the Sheikah force arrived. Hold it! Did anything happen during that time? No, not that I recall. The guards did occasionally protest and ask me to let them take over, but I held my stance. While commendable in theory, staying in the same room as a dangerous killer isn't very wise. What if she woke up and lashed out at you? Sweet highly up above. That thought did not occur to me. Bah, of course not. Foolish girl. If the guards did stand close by, I would have been safe. Wonderful to see how much faith our princess has in our royal guard. Yes, of course I do. In any case, once the Sheikah started investigating the crime scene, I decided to take a look around the ranch. You didn't just go home? The royal visitation was supposed to last a lot longer. Father was not expecting us back at the castle until much later. I came to the ranch to examine the horses, so I suppose I could at least do that in the meantime. How long did it take the Sheikah to arrive at the scene? It does not take very long to make the trip from Hyrule Castle Town to Longmont Ranch. I cannot imagine it was more than 20 minutes. That is pretty fast. Although I imagine the fact that the princess was involved helped speed it up. Slowpokes. I would be there in half that time. Running backwards even. Running backwards. It does make you go faster. I suppose it's no surprise though. Hylian horses are naturally inferior to fine Gerudo steeds. The Gerudo buy horses from our ranch. The Gerudo buy horses from our ranch too, you. Just don't bother. He's trying to rile you up. While I was walking near the silo, I noticed a strange odor in the air. I had to stop to see where it was coming from. What was the smell like? Oh, it was awful. A really terrible stench. Surely you don't mean to say that you found the smell of horse manure suspicious. Do not be ridiculous. The smell was not coming from the horses. I followed the scent and found it burned out fire nearby and a small, nearly empty bottle of lamp oil. A fire, huh? Now, let me remind your defense, there's any number of reasons why a fire could have been there. You can still feel the cold grasp of death early in the morn. Princess, how long would you estimate the fire had been out before you found it? Right. There was still smoke rising out of the ashes, so it must have been put out recently. So around the time of the crime. Objection. So someone prepared their breakfast there. I repeat, this fire is irrelevant. I think he's realized the same thing I did. Well, who was it? Who could have lit the fire anyway? It would have to have been the ranch worker who was putting the milk shipment together at the time. It was almost certainly him. If you really want to ask about his little barbecue, you might just get your wish soon. Doesn't sound like it was very appetizing. But without anything concrete to pin on him, he'll just be able to brush it off. I, of course, took the bottle straight to the head detective. Hold it! Right, and she allowed you to present it. Well, I was the one to find it, and since I was going to the trial anyway... Utter ridiculousness. Yes. Please make this the last time you do something like this, Your Highness. Proper procedures exist for a reason. Yes, I understand. Defense, I believe that is enough. It doesn't seem like you're getting any closer to finding a connection between this fire and the crime at all. Ugh. No, I suppose not, Your Honor. Naturally. I've said this was a waste of time from the beginning. In that case, this cross-examination is over. Thank you for your time, Your Highness. I assume you have no more revelations to share with us? No, I do not. I really thought the fire would be important. Leave my sight. Enough. Your Highness, if you'd allow me to escort you back to Hyrule Castle. Very well. So we don't get to present evidence to that cross-examination. Now that the princess's little game is over, we should move this along. Prosecution stance is still the same, of course. We maintain that the evidence on its own is enough to convict the defendant. I do believe I am nearly ready to hand down my verdict. Objection. But, Your Honor, there's nothing that definitively shows that Marilyn committed the crime. This is all circumstantial. There's no way she could kill her own father. That is an excellent point, defense. The prosecution has yet to elaborate on the defendant's motive. Patricide is not something a person commits lightly. Patricide? Patricide? Bah, I did briefly touch on the subject during my opening statement. But naturally, the prosecution is fully prepared to elaborate on the matter. I would like to call in my third witness. That has to be the ranch worker. Before calling him in, though, the prosecution requires a brief recess to prepare. I thought you said you were already prepared. Maybe he wants to double check that his new witness won't pull anything weird like the princess did. Very well. I do believe a break would benefit us all. The court will reconvene after a 15-minute recess. Court is adjourned. Man. March 17th, 11:17 a.m. Hyrule Grand Court. Defendant lobby number 3. It's not going all that well, is it? No, I think that went about as well as it could have, actually, given the circumstances. We exposed the worst of the princess's testimony is untrue. Ugh, I can't believe she'd just make up stuff like that. Yeah, that was surprising. Still, the issue is we didn't manage to shake the core of her argument. If only there was anyone else in that house. Now, there is no need to look so glum. Question mark? Detective, aren't you supposed to be escorting the princess back? The carriage is being prepared. I thought I'd drop by in the meantime. You've really managed to make Dragmire furious, you know. I have? If you listen carefully, you just might be able to hear him ranting over in the prosecutor's lobby. Eavesdrop? I could hear it just a little bit there. Ah, he's really giving his upcoming witness a grilling. Expect him to try and shut you down as fast as he can. Well, that would be worrying if I had anything. Well, that would be worrying if I had anything he could shut down in the first place, I guess. Oh, but you do. What do you mean? Oh, come on now. I'm talking about the princess's grand discovery, of course. The fire? I wasn't able to do anything with that. You really think it's relevant? Don't get me wrong. At present, I'm convinced the girl did it. We investigated and came to this conclusion for a reason. But I'm willing to explore every possibility. The fire is definitely a bit strange, and I dare say it may be your only way out of this. If I may be so bold, I think you should press the next witness on that topic hard. As the only other person working on the ranch at the time, he is the only one who could have lit that fire. If he is hiding something, I think the court deserves to know. The thing is, the next testimony is about the motive. It's going to be difficult to bring up the fire again without Dragmire objecting. We'll have to make it work. As much as I don't like it, she's right. There really isn't a whole lot else to go on here. Well, thank you. Don't mention it. One last thing. You, ranch girl. Me? Try not to hold that testimony against the princess. Believe me, I'm sure she was acting with the best intentions in mind. You know the road to the Dark Realm is paved with those, right? Perhaps. It was definitely a serious lapse of judgment, one she will live to regret. Part of this comes from the fact that she's rather sheltered and inexperienced. After the sudden death of her older sister last year, she was thrust into the role of an heir very suddenly. That's right, the mysterious death of the firstborn Princess Zelda. Hyrule still grieves after the events of that day. And yet, no one knows exactly what happened. In the void of information, conspiracy theories run amok. People blaming the Royal Guard, the Sheikah, and even the king himself. Well, this is a twist. The princess will soon have a whole kingdom's worth of trouble on her shoulders. For a kingdom with a history as turbulent as ours, it's a lot to handle. The princess's conduct today probably won't help with the distrust that some people have of the crown right now, though. She's wise beyond her years. She will learn, and she will be better. I simply ask that you don't think of her as an enemy, whatever comes of this trial. She does not need more than she already has. Wow, she's so intense. I never expected to see Impa get so emotional. I guess all this is why she decided to take the blame for the princess's impromptu investigation. Detective Impa. What is it, soldier? I'm quite busy at the moment, so please be quick. The investigation team back at the ranch has just sent word of a new development. Something about a milk shipment being returned to the ranch because of a wrong recipient address? They're asking you to come over to see it. Oh, those idiots. I don't have time for this. Send someone else. I have to escort the princess to the castle. Roger. That did remind me, though. I took this bottle of milk from a couple guards who were slacking on the job earlier. Here, ranch girl. Perhaps it'll help calm your nerves somewhat. Not to worry, it's still unopened. Oh? Thank you. That's nice of her. Too bad for those guards, though. Now then, I believe the princess's carriage should be prepared by now. If you'll excuse me. Why is this suspicious? I think I'm so nervous right now. Milk has just lost its flavor. Huh? Lost its flavor? But Lon Lon milk is always so tasty. Are you sure it's just nerves? Let me try some. Huh. You're right. I assume this would have come from one of yesterday's shipments? Probably. With the investigation at the ranch, there wouldn't be any today, so maybe it just isn't fresh? No, I don't think so. It doesn't really taste as if it's gone bad. Also, the guard said that one of yesterday's shipments was misaddressed, didn't he? And this was all handled by Ingo, wasn't it? I think there's something odd going on. I better make some notes about this in the court record. Note about the shipment's return added to the court record. Lon Lon milk added to record. Defense, this court is about to reconvene. Escort your client back to the courtroom at once. So it comes down to this. The conclusion's approaching. Time to turn the situation around. Oh, we got full hearts again. Court is back in session for the trial of Malin of Lon Lon Ranch. I trust that the prosecution's final witness is ready? Naturally, I have personally seen to it that there will be no foolishness this time around. Hopefully his ears are intact. As we discussed before, the recess, having established the opportunity and means for the defendant to have committed the murder, only one matter remains, the matter of motive. For, naturally, such a heinous crime couldn't be the result of mere happenstance. The prosecution believes the defendant had a deep desire that pushed her to patricide. Our next witness can shed light on the matter. Fascinating. Very well. Please proceed. Prosecution calls the ranch worker Ingo to the stand. Hello. Hi, it's funny to see Mr. Ingo in such fancy clothes. Oh? Yeah, he almost always just wears his work dungarees. It's almost like looking at a different person. Well, I guess he wanted to dress up for court, and he wouldn't want to get his nice outfit dirty by working in it. Quiet, defense. Witness, state your name and occupation. Your Honor, great honorable prosecutor. My name is Ingo. I mind Lon Lon Ranch. Mind? What does that entail exactly? I'm mostly there to work on structures and equipment. The owner and his daughter are the ones who tend to the animals and take care of orders. How long have you been working at the ranch? It'll be several years at this point. Hey-ya! There have been others who came and went, but I, Ingo, have persevered through all the hardships. Sounds like he wants a medal for it. Well, he does get a bit pompous at times. Mr. Ingo really is a great help. He built the ranch's silo single-handedly. Whoa, that's some dedication. Very well. Given that you're clearly an important employee, you are privy to some inside information, is that correct? Yes. The ranch owner shared all the big plans with me. He trusted me implicitly. He used to say that we're like a big family. That sounds lovely. That sounds like a red flag that you're going to be getting loads of unpaid overtime. Evidently, not every member of your so-called family felt the same way, though, did they? It hurts to do this, but I have no choice. Hear my story, Honorable Court of Law. Whew. Witness testimony. The matter of motive. Ooh, okay, I had to step away and take a break for a minute because my voice, this is so much. Hopefully, my voice doesn't annoy you guys too much. This is probably the most I've had to talk in a video. Not really sure how else I would have done this video without reading the dialogue out, so it is what it is, but let me get back into it after that little break. So, Ingo is here as a witness. Testimony. Just a couple of days ago, the owner, Talon, partially signed the ranch over to his daughter, Malin. Talon became a life tenant, with Malin meant to inherit all the assets after his death. As long as Talon lived, Malin could not sell the ranch. It's simple, isn't it? The girl killed Talon to get full ownership and leave dingy ranch life behind. It's appalling how ungrateful she is, after all Talon did for her. So this was to get rid of the ranch. And there you have it. Testimony from a man who just lost everything. It's truly tragic to witness yet another family torn apart by greed. We have evidence. We have the defendant caught red-handed at the scene of the crime, and now we have a motive. Ooh. How do we know he's telling the truth? Bah, I have, of course, verified the witness's testimony. Of course you have. That's biased, though. As per the law, all inheritance documents must be filled at the Castletown notary office to be considered valid. I saw fit to prepare this for the trial. The prosecution would like to submit the Lon Lon Ranch inheritance document into evidence. Added to court record. Mr. Ingo, why would you... You should pass judgment now, Judge. The defense has nothing. Objection. I would like to cross-examine the witness. There are a few more details I feel are relevant. But of course, ask whatever you like. I, the hard-working Ingo, can handle it. Very well, defense. Please begin. Oh boy. Cross-examination. The matter of motive. Just a couple days ago, the owner Talon partially signed the ranch over to his daughter Malin. It's questionable. Hold it. How long ago was this exactly? 4 days. I'm not sure of the exact date. Had it been planned for a long time? Talon was getting on in years. Better take care of the matter sooner than later, eh? Malin? He is telling the truth. Father scheduled a visit to the notary office about a week ago. What do you mean by partly witness? Let's look at that. Oh, we have all the evidence slots are filled now. So the milk shipment return. Apparently one of the milk shipments was returned to the ranch due to being misaddressed. From one of yesterday's shipments, Impa bought it during recess. It seems strangely tasteless. That's important. Malin will inherit the ranch if she is unable to divide the deed between the crown and the remaining employees. The crown and the remaining employees. So Zelda and Ingo? I think they're in cahoots together. Maybe? I don't know. I could be completely wrong. Still missing 5 profiles. Ingo, age 44. Smarmy man who works on the ranch. Usually in his work clothes, but he's dressed up nicely for court. Also, the murder of the older sister thing is kind of sus as well. Continue questioning. Talon became a life tenant with Malin meant to inherit all the assets after his death. Hold it. So Malin hadn't become the ranch owner yet. Why, of course not. Haven't you heard all the stories making rounds recently? So many ungrateful brats throwing their old folks into retirement homes the moment ownership's signed to them. Talon was no fool. I myself convinced him that it was a safer option. If the girl was up to some chicanery, I haven't seen that word in a long time, he could always revert his decision. That's horrible. I'd never do that. As much as I'd like to believe that, you did much worse by killing him. Children these days. You feed them, you raise them, and they pull a stunt like this as soon as you give them an inch of over yourself. I must concur. The younger generation is horrible. Why did he look at me while saying that? Anyway, what that meant was, as long as Talon lived, Malin could not sell the ranch. Hold it. Why would Malin want to sell the ranch right now? Why wouldn't she want to? Why would a pretty little girl like her want to work on some dingy ranch? She'd have it much better if she sold the old place and used the money to move to Castletown. That's not true. I love working with the animals. I wouldn't leave them for anything. Why? She's often slacking on the job, while I, the hard-working Ingo, have to cover for her. I guess the Deku nut doesn't fall far from the tree, as they say. That Talon loved to sleep on the job, too. Oh ho, I do recall quite a funny story about the Lon Lon Ranch owner blocking the side entrance to Hyrule Castle for an entire day once. I remember it like it was yesterday. The guards couldn't wake him up. It took a particularly vocal cuckoo, apparently. Ah, jeez. Well, there you go. I'm the real reason why the ranch has such renown. Me, the hard-working Ingo. Link, that's not true at all. I know. But how do I stop this? It's simple, isn't it? The girl killed Talon to get full ownership and leave the dingy ranch life behind. Do you really think Malon would go that far? I don't want to think it, but clearly the events speak for themselves, don't they? Why wouldn't she just wait a few more years then? Talon was getting older. Perhaps she knew more and more work would be piling onto her. But really, how am I supposed to know? Ask her. Ugh, that's alright. Well, if Malon didn't want to work, wouldn't she have done this earlier? As Talon's only child, she'd still inherit the ranch. Muhaha, that's where you're wrong. For a long while, Talon planned to split the ranch between the girl and the crown. He was a patriotic man. He knew how much those horses meant to the royal guard. I wish he hadn't changed his mind now. Is this true? Yes, Father's previous inheritance document did work that way. How admirable. I guess familial bonds won over his drive to help the kingdom. Truly a shame. Yes, naturally, the girl wanted the whole thing, so she bided her time. I think this sufficiently explains the timing. Let's continue, shall we? Objection. Wait just a moment. There's one more problem with the timing that I'd like the witness to explain. Why would Malon have planned the murder for the day of the royal visitation specifically? More people around means more witnesses. You'd think she would have chosen any other day. Oh, did I forget to mention this? I overheard Talon arguing with her that very morning. He was telling her he'd changed his mind again. He was planning to tell the king that he'd be signing the royal let me try that one again. He was planning to tell the king that he'd be signing the ranch over to the crown. After the visitation was over, he'd head to Castletown to change the inheritance back to the original split. What? Despite the victim's wishy-washiness, it would appear he did make the right choice in the end. And because of that choice, if the defendant wanted to get the ranch, he had no time to waste that day. Is this true too? Absolutely not. Father wasn't planning to do that, and there was no argument either. What to do about this argument then? Oh, add it to the testimony, or better not bring attention to it. Add it to the testimony? There was an argument about the inheritance? That sounds like an important fact to me. The defense requests it to be added to the testimony. Very well. Witness, please do so. I'd be happy to, Your Honor. I overheard them arguing about inheritance that morning. Hold it. About what time did this happen? First thing in the morning. I was heading out to the silo to start the day's work. I had just walked out to the front door of the ranch house when I heard some yelling erupt behind me. Do you remember any specifics about what was said? Oh yes, it surprised me enough that I stopped to listen for a minute. It was all like, I'm really sorry, Malon, but most important thing is to make sure the king will always have a steady supply of quality horses. I don't care. What about me, Father? How can you do this to me? Malon, this isn't just about you. It's for the good of the entire kingdom. But what am I supposed to do? I can't move up in life when I'm stuck on the stump of a ranch forever. I thought you loved the ranch. All the animals are here, and Ingo's always around to help with the chores. Too. He's pretty great, isn't he? Yeah, Ingo's awesome, but I still hate you for this. This isn't over. Seems to be puffing himself up. Ugh. What a stirring reenactment. I will keep my thoughts on the witness's acting skills to myself. There's no way this actually happened, though. Malon would never want to sell the ranch. Objection. Well, of course she'd say that now, you buffoon. Remember, she's under suspicion for murder. We can't trust a thing she says. Well, I trust her, but the judge probably doesn't right now, and that's unfortunately what matters. Do I have anything in the court record that could refute this story? If you ask me, this whole inheritance issue could have been avoided if the crown wasn't so soft. In Gerudo Desert, there would be no question that the fortress may seize whatever it desires. That's just messed up. No matter. Continue your testimony, farmhand. Share with us the true nature of the defendant. It's appalling how ungrateful she is after all Talon did for her. Hold it. No, you hold it. That man gave everything for her. She's gotten so many expensive presents over the years. Just look at that golden necklace she's wearing. That man spoiled her rotten. In fact, I think I saw another present he was meaning to give her on the very day he was killed. Another gift? Why yes, a little bottle of perfume, I believe. It's horrible. Talon was such a kind man. What happened to him is despicable. Was that last statement important? Supposedly that perfume was supposed to be for Zelda. Or the crown. Not Malon. kind of contradict itself, don't you think? Ranch's gift for the princess, bought just before the crime. We better add that to the testimony. Your Honor, the defense wishes to add the statement about the perfume to the testimony. Objection. Ah, what are you doing? Trying to implicate the defendant even harder? I think it's an important detail. The perfume is irrelevant. But I suppose the prosecution has no objections to strengthening our case. Very well, witness. Please add what you just said to your testimony. Talon off of that. Saw the latest one, some kind of perfume, I think. Where did you see this? I think it was just lying around the ranch house. Talon probably intended to give it to Malin on the day he was killed. Do you mean this, witness? Why, yes, that's exactly it. Looks very expensive. If only Talon had spent as much on his salary for me, the hardworking Ingo. I get up and leave to do work at the break of dawn every day, you know? What's your relationship with this guy, anyway? Well, he's been employed and living with us on the ranch for as long as I can remember, really. You know, I don't think he's ever skipped a day of work, thinking about it. Not a single one? Talk about dedication. But even so, something is very much off here. The perfume. Need to present the perfume because the perfume is supposed to be a gift for the princess. Let's go with that. Objection. Witness. What is it? Just to confirm, you say that this bottle of perfume was bought for Malin by her father, correct? What else would it be for? I assure you, Talon wasn't the type to indulge in perfumes. Oops, what did it say? Far from it. Okay. Well, you're wrong, witness. Oh, is that so? Was the ranch owner truly a perfume connoisseur? No, Your Honor. This bottle of perfume was bought for the princess. So what, defense? Sure, it's technically a contradiction, but what does the purpose of this bottle change? Yes, defense, I admit I'm confused as well. Please explain why this point is important. Earlier in the trial, Malin mentioned that Talon bought this perfume in preparation last minute. Isn't that right, Malin? It sure is. We had a gift for the king prepared when the news arrived that it would actually be the princess making the visitation. Father quickly rode out into town to buy a new gift. This info puts one thing into question. It's either somebody's movements or the princess's testimony. Let's go with somebody's movements to start, I guess. I really don't know, because we're kind of done with the princess's testimony, I thought, for right now. Someone's movements around the ranch are put into serious doubt. Someone's? Well, don't keep us waiting then, defense. Who is this person? Naturally, the person whose movements become suspect is... Ooh, man. Of course, I can't get back to the logs. Well, it puts Talon's movements into question, doesn't it? Because... it's either Talon or Ingo. Because she's saying that he like went out like day of to about that because they found out last minute that it was going to be Zelda coming. Let's try it. Take that. The owner of the ranch, Talon. The victim, how so, defense? If the victim went out to buy the perfume bottle, he should have not been there to get killed? What? Defense, are you proposing that the victim hasn't actually died? Well, of course. Why, perhaps we should send out a rescue party. He may still be stuck in the labyrinth that is the local perfume store. Meanwhile, the defense can try to get out of the labyrinth that is their own convoluted mind. Oh. Sorry. But even so, the fact that the perfume was bought at the last minute still causes a big problem. It puts one thing into question. Oh, someone's movements around the ranch are put in serious doubt. Maybe it was Ingo. Who is this person? The person whose movements become suspect is... like, Ingo's maybe? I don't know. I'm not good at this kind of thing. Take that. The witness himself. If you recall, this bottle of perfume, which had just been purchased, was found at the crime scene. A crime scene the witness supposedly never went to. He should have known about he shouldn't have known about the bottle. Ah, okay. So I was right kind of there. Ooh, that was a tricky one. Order. The defense raises a very valid point. You simpleton, what is the meaning of this? Well, witness, did you go to the scene of the crime at any point? No, of course I didn't. I was working on the silo all day. So yeah, how would you know about the bottle? I remember, I saw the gift the day before the crime. The girl is lying. Talon must have gotten the gift the day before. You're the one who's lying. Father didn't leave the ranch at all that day. One's word against another's. Defense, do you have any way to prove that your version of events is true? Smell the perfume, find the receipt, or ask at the store? Ask at the store. I don't know. Why don't we send a soldier to ask the store owner when the bottle was bought? Bah! Do you know how many people visit that store? It's inconceivable that the owner would remember every random purchase. Any other ideas, defense? Find the receipt? Or smell the perfume? Why would smelling the perfume make any difference? When you buy something, you usually get a receipt, and the receipt always shows the date of purchase. It might still be at the ranch house. I say we send someone out to look for it. Father never throws receipts away. We have a drawer full of them. The perfume one should be right on top. I believe this idea has some merit. Soldiers, rush out to the ranch house immediately and search for that receipt. Your Honor. Yes? What is it, soldier? We have just received the receipt from the team stationed at the crime scene. Very well, thank you. I shall now read it out. There's a lot writing on this. From Tingle's Mysterious Smells. Ah yes, I think I've seen that store. It's that eccentric looking place in the back alley. You couldn't miss the blinding neon colors if you tried. It's an utter eyesore. The gall of this nobody running a monopoly on highly perfume is preposterous. Perhaps, but back to the matter at hand. The nerve of that dunderhead. Why would anyone ever shop at a store where the owner always calls every other customer a fairy? Prosecutor. And the balloons. Oh, the balloons. That fool popped one right in my face. Shush. Prosecutor Dragmar. Enough. Continuing on. Purchased item. 1 bottle of Rosy Rupee Land. Oh my. This is quite the price. Why, I would have to... Objection. Your Honor, please. The date of purchase. Ah yes, right. Date of purchase. Why, it's March 16th. The day of the murder. We got you now, buddy. Order. Yes, we got him. Phew, I think we're finally getting somewhere. Bah, this still doesn't mean anything. Perhaps the witness briefly went back to the ranch house for something and saw the bottle then. Yes, that's it. I was getting thirsty, so I went back to get a drink. I must have seen the bottle then. Oh, come on. You think we're gonna believe that? Do you have any proof that he didn't? Well, I believe this calls for further testimony. As the witness now claims to have visited the crime scene shortly before the murder, we should learn of his exact movements that day. Ha, my movements? Well, alright, there's not a whole lot to say, though. It's unfortunate that he managed to weasel out of that. But this next testimony will be full of lies. This is my chance. Something about that fire and the oil bottle is going to come into play, I'm sure. Oh, boy. This is long. My non-suspicious motives. Non-suspicious movements. As was already stated, I had volunteered to work in the silo. At one point, I briefly went back to the ranch house to get myself a glass of water. I went back to the silo right after that and stayed there until the courier came. I haven't been back to the ranch house at all since then. At some point, the detective came and told me what happened. And wow, was that detective one fine woman. See? I haven't done anything to warrant suspicion. Eat my shoes, you brat. I'll pass. There has to be something wrong in there. You can't put a flawless story together that quickly. We'll find what it is, I'm sure. Cross-examination. My non-suspicious movements. As was already stated, I had volunteered to work in the silo. Hold it. What were you doing? Working on shipments and fulfilling orders. We send out crates of milk to milk bars all across the kingdom every day, you know. Milk bars. Naturally, everyone loves a good drink, you know. And our milk is renowned as the best there is. I hear some others water theirs down. Despicable. Waters theirs down. I see. I think you said earlier that your job is to work on the structures and equipment, though, right? Indeed. Talon and the girl would usually be the ones overseeing milk orders. However, since the royal visitation was happening that day, I felt they needed their minds unoccupied, so I took it upon myself to do it this time. After the murder, I got scared that the Sheikah Force's investigation would delay the shipment, and that I, the great Ingo, would get the blame. Thankfully, it all went through fine. Yeah, and you were so concerned with sending it off quickly that you wrote the wrong delivery address on it. Bah, you Hylians. Ridiculous. Getting tipsy from something like milk? But you couldn't handle even a sip of the Gerudo's noble pursuit, a real man's drink. A real man's drink? Aren't most of the Gerudo women? Speaking of drinks, I believe the witness was talking about how he had gotten himself a glass of water. Yes, of course. Moving all that heavy stuff around works up a sweat. You see, I get very thirsty, and watered down milk. At one point, I briefly went back to the ranch house to get myself a glass of water. Hold it. You didn't think to just take a sip of the milk you were handling? No. It wouldn't be right. That milk was for the customers, you see. I just didn't want to get into any trouble. A truly honest man. How dare you suggest he would steal from his own workplace? Right. So what did you see at the house? Nothing much. I got my drink and left. Still had a lot of work to do, you see. I suppose I must have seen the perfume bottle then. In fact, yes, I remember it clearly now. It was there, on the table, plain as day. Muhaha. Great. What happened after that, witness? I went back to the silo right after that and stayed there until the courier came. Hold it. And you were able to complete this so quickly on your own? Bah, you don't know the might of the great Ingo. Hut, hya, pow, wham. I get things done in no time. I did almost break my back getting those crates out of the silo, though. There were so many, and all so heavy. It was like a puzzle in there. Anyway, that's not important. The point is, I haven't been back to the ranch house at all since then. But the fire. Are you sure? Sure as can be, muhaha. You never went back in, even after the crime was discovered. Bah, they wouldn't let me in. Preserving the crime scene or some such, I couldn't even get any of my things. After I was questioned, no one gave me half a glance. I had to sleep in the stables that night. It was terrible. Is what he said just said important? I had to sleep in the stables that night. Let's say it is important. Your Honor, I would like the witness to add his last statement to the testimony. What? What are you trying to pull now? Very well. Witness, please amend your statement. Yeah, fine. Whatever. Didn't even get to sleep or access any of my belongings. I had to spend the night in the stable. Let's question that. Couldn't you have stayed at an inn? Bah, what am I, made out of money? Think, boy. I'm just a simple ranch worker, you know? Pfah, you lawyers, always flaunting your wealth. But he's dressed nicely. Right, sorry. Not actually sorry. I doubt one night would bankrupt this guy. Just look at what he's wearing. Exactly. At some point, the detective came and told me what happened. Wow, was the detective one fine woman? Hold it. Could you elaborate? She's a hardworking woman who gets to the point and takes what she wants. Not to mention her impeccable fashion sense. What's not to love? That's not the part I wanted him to elaborate on. Wow, he seems totally smitten with her. Sure does. I wonder how Impa feels about it. Perhaps when this tour of trial is over, I could... But no, it will have to wait. You thought you could distract me, did you? I, the genius ranch worker, Ingo, see through your schemes. He's sticking to that story, huh? Yeah, it was a desperate fix, but holds up surprisingly well. I can hardly believe this is the same Mr. Ingo I know. He's usually so nice. It's time to press for more details. He's sure to slip up somewhere. There has to be a piece of evidence or a profile waiting to disprove what he is saying. Oh boy, this is a tough one. Went back to the silo right after that and stayed there until the courier came. Haven't been back to the ranch house at all since then. Didn't even get to sleep or access any of my belongings. I had to spend the night in the stable. Found at the ranch near a burned out fire. Has a tiny bit of oil inside. Ooh man, this is a tough one. At some point, the detective came and told me what happened, and wow, was that detective one fine woman. Maybe Impa? Let's try that. There's so many combinations. What do you think of this statement, Your Honor? What do I think of it? Why do you ask? Well, I have this evidence here. Don't listen to a judge. That evidence has nothing to do with what's being discussed. Oh, don't worry. I knew that. Attorneys always seem to ask what I think when they have no idea what they're talking about. Drat. Well, that wasn't right. Let's try the oil bottle. Oops. I've got you now. What? I knew a simple ranch worker couldn't concoct a flawless story. I've just found a gaping hole in it. Link, are you implying ranch workers are stupid? That's not what I meant. On the other hand, certain attorneys definitely are, since what you just presented is entirely meaningless. Oh sure, just hang up on me. Oh man. Consults. Why would Ingo even try to return to the ranch house if he knew there'd be been a murder there? Well, I don't imagine he had any other place to sleep. Father let him move in with us when he was hired, so he wouldn't have to spend money on rent. Surely he didn't expect to be able to sleep in an active crime investigation scene, though. Well, it's not just that. All of Mr. Ingo's belongings are at the house. All of them, huh? It would be so easy to prove he went back to the scene if he just had something on him right now that he shouldn't. His clothes! Maybe I should check his profile to make sure I haven't missed anything. Hey, speaking of profiles, do you remember you can present those during cross-examinations? Just making sure. Right, sometimes the best evidence is a person, not a thing. I'll be sure to keep that in mind. Thanks, Malin. He would have had to go get his clothes to come to this, and it's an active crime investigation, so he wouldn't be able to go back to the house, so how would he get the clothes? Okay. Didn't even get to sleep or access my belongings. Had to spend the night in the stable. Alright, we're gonna present him. Usually in his work clothes, but he's dressed up nicely for court. Objection. Witness, there's something seriously wrong with your testimony. What are you talking about? You say you couldn't get any of your belongings because they were all at the ranch house, correct? A ranch house you were not allowed to go in. That's right. Well, that would imply you should still be wearing your work clothes. Pardon me if I'm wrong, but those don't look like work clothes at all. The defense has a point. The witness appears pretty well dressed for court. I can't imagine he would want to sully those clothes during work. Well, what do you have to say about that? Grr. Oh, of course. I can explain. It's simple. These are brand new. Yeah. On my way to the courthouse, I went shopping for a nice new outfit. After all, I couldn't very well show up to a court dressed like a bum. Moo-hoo-hoo. But he said he couldn't afford an inn. U.S. defense. Certain people have a modicum of respect for the court and show up dressed appropriately. What's that supposed to mean? This is my finest Zora suit. So you claim you bought these clothes after the crimes, is that correct? Very much so. This morning, in fact. Why do I need to repeat myself? Do I accept that explanation? No. You buying those clothes today is simply impossible. What? Oh, how can you claim so? Defense. As you know, evidence is everything in court. Either prove that the witness couldn't have bought these clothes today, or get out. Good lord. Or a profile. I'm gonna get this wrong. Pictograph from childhood. Autopsy report. Murder weapon. List of equipment on the ranch. March 15th. Ingo. Is it him again? The profile? Do him again, I guess? This proves you couldn't have bought the clothes. No, that's not right. I must admit, I don't see the connection here. Bah, because there is none. The defense is just wasting our time as usual. Ha! I needn't have worried. What? Defense. As you know, evidence is everything in court. Either prove that the witness couldn't have bought these clothes today, or get out. Frick, man. There's something I'm missing or not thinking of. Prove that the witness couldn't have bought the clothes today, or get out. Because he said he was poor. But unless it's the return, and he would have had to receive that from one of yesterday's shipments. Strangely tasteless. The inheritance document doesn't mean anything. The ranch inventory is the day before, the 15th. Saw autopsy report. I don't know, man. I feel like this is where I'm gonna fail. Let's do the shipment, but I don't think it's right. There's no way you could have bought the clothes today because of this. Told you to stop wasting our time. That also proves nothing. God dang it, bro. I think that is enough. I feel I've seen enough to announce the verdict at this time. The defense has failed to establish a likely alternative scenario to the one presented by the prosecution. As such, I pronounce Mal and Love Lawmon Ranch. Guilty. The defendant shall submit herself to the king to have her fate decided. This court is adjourned. Frick. Retry the last scene. Yes, please. The frick is it then? There's something I'm missing. There's something I'm not reading into or making the connection of. Cross-examination. My non-suspicious movements. He seems to be glossing over some things on purpose. Yeah, he's only going into detail about things that make him look innocent. Since you don't feel like elaborating on your own, Ingo, I'll just have to force it out of you. What were you doing? Working on shipments and fulfilling orders. So now create some milk-to-milk bars across the kingdom, you know. Milk bars. Naturally, everyone loves a good drink. Milkers are renowned, here others water theirs down. I see. Work on the structures and equipment, though. Indeed. Talon and the girl would usually be the ones overseeing milk orders. However, since the royal visitation was happening today, I felt they needed their minds unoccupied, so I took it upon myself to do it this time. After the murder, I got scared that the Sheikah's forced investigation would delay the shipment and that I, Great Ingo, would be to blame. Thankfully, it all went through fine. And you were so concerned with sending it off quickly that you wrote the wrong delivery address. Ah, you highly, it's ridiculous. Getting tipsy from something like milk. But you couldn't handle even a sip of the video. Mostly grew to women. Moving all the heavy stuff works up a sweat. You see, I get very thirsty. Didn't want to get in trouble. Is important. So we were on to something there with saying that it was important that he never went back to place because of the clothes, and then he comes up with the story that he just bought them. So let's get back into that. Those don't look like it were clothes at all. On my way to the courthouse, I went shopping for a nice new outfit. This morning. Claim you bought these clothes after the crime, is that correct? Very much so, this morning, in fact. Why do I need to repeat myself? am I supposed to accept the explanation or no? But I have nothing to prove that he did that. So maybe I do have to accept the explanation. But it prompted me to put a profile. It hinted at me with the consult to put in a profile to counteract what he's saying. So that makes me think that I'm still on the right track there. But I don't have anything to prove that he didn't buy the clothes this morning. I really don't know. Simply impossible. I can't even go back at the log at this point either. Prove that the witness couldn't have bought the clothes today or get out. That wasn't that. I can't back out of this either. So I'm kind of stuck in this loop until I get something right or just start over again. I don't know. Don't see the connection. It's not Impa, is it? Did she bring him? Wait, no. Just throwing it through her because of this. No. I don't know anything about Ingo's schedule this morning. Maybe if I could show he already had these clothes before today. Huh. Wait. Rakes, garden hose, buckets, hammers, knives, wood saws, saddles, horseshoes, axes, brooms, size, troubles, drag heads, water hoses, wheelbarrows, horse cart, toys. It's nothing in the inventory. Something to show that he had the clothes before today. I'm really just shooting in the dark at this point. I don't know. It's not gonna be Zelda. Maybe if I could show he already had these clothes before today. How, though? What am I missing here? Oh, wait, no. His clothes are in the photo. It's in the frickin' photo, bro. I would like to turn the court's attention to this. Ah. Why, this is one lovely pictograph. Ah, it reminds me of the idyllic days I spent with something like Mr. S because I went too fast. What about this pictograph defense? Well, just look at what Ingo is wearing. Duh. This photo's from Malon's childhood, but Ingo is clearly wearing the same outfit he has on right now. He couldn't have bought it today. Ah! Order, I will have order. Why, the defense is absolutely correct. I hope the witness has a good explanation for this. There. I think we finally got him. There's no way you can weasel out this time. Unless someone weasels out for him. Blah, isn't it obvious? Naturally, the witness knew he would need to wear his nice clothes for the royal's visitation that was scheduled for that day. He brought them to the silo in advance, so that he could quickly change just before the royal visitation's arrival. Oh? Oh-ho. Aha. Yes, it was. I needed to be presentable after all. Can't look like a bum in front of the most important people of the kingdom. Objection. Wait a minute, this is insane. What kind of kangaroo court is this? The prosecution keeps making excuses up on the spot. Ingo was clearly lying about buying the clothes before the trial. He's definitely trying to hide something. Your Honor, surely you won't accept this blatant perjury. Accept it, Judge. There can be no other explanation. The prosecution's explanation does seem plausible. What? However, the fact that the witness didn't simply say it himself and instead made up a lie about buying the clothes is indeed very suspicious. Oh. Defense. The prosecution has posed that there is no other possible explanation for this contradiction. What is your opinion on the matter? Can the defense think of an alternative version of events? This is big. I really need to think this through. Ingo is acting really suspicious right now. He's desperately trying to patch up his holes in his testimony to conceal his real movements. Why would he be doing that? Ingo has a wardrobe at the silo. Ingo is the victim. Ingo is the murderer. Ingo is the murderer. I don't know. If it's not Malon, Ingo is the only other person who could have done this. I have to assume he did if I want to think Malon is innocent. With that in mind, why would Ingo change out of his work clothes? What happened to make it necessary? Talon's blood got on them. When Ingo killed Talon, his clothes must have gotten blood on them. He had to change into something else to hide his involvement. But then wouldn't the Sheikah Force have found the clothes in the house? How could they have disappeared? They were thrown in a fire. I don't know, man. This is nuts. Ingo burned his clothes. Yo. That's it. This explains everything. Is that right? I mean, it's the thing that makes the most sense. That last one got me, though, with the picto. I believe I can offer an alternative explanation. Nonsense. Judge, the defense spent far too long sitting in silence just now. They clearly have nothing. I call for a quick ruling. Objection. And not only can I explain it, but in fact, the defense formally accuses the witness of the murder. No. It's simple. The reason he had to swap his outfit and why he's been lying about the circumstances ever since is because it got stained by the victim's blood. Preposterous. If there were any discarded bloody clothes nearby, the Sheikah Force would have found them, and we would be trying someone else for murder right now. Why, you are absolutely correct, prosecutor. Naturally, Ingo couldn't have left his bloody clothes lying around. And so, he used this to dispose of them. Take that. Your Honor, cast your mind to the princess's last testimony. The princess's. Ah, the mysterious fire. Objection. Surely you jest. You yourself made sure we all knew how meaningless her testimony was. And yet, with this new context in mind, it gains a completely new meaning. An empty bottle of lamp oil found by a burned out fire. Ingo used this lamp oil to quickly burn away his stained work clothes. Well, how about it, witness? My scenario explains everything. You killed Talon and then tried to hide it. This is... No. Hold on. What drivel are you spouting here? Me? Kill Talon? You already know that's impossible. Oh, another witness testimony. Too busy for murder. Everything you said is wrong. I have no idea what you're on about. I have an alibi for the time of the crime. I just couldn't have done it. There's no way I could have completed those milk shipments, killed Callan, and tried to hide my involvement. The fire was just made for a quick breakfast. There's no mystery there. Stop trying to pin this on poor innocent Ingo. Now, I shouldn't have to remind your defense, but you yourself were surprised that Ingo was able to complete the shipment in time. Adding even more things for him to do in time is preposterous. That's right, the great Ingo was efficient at his job, but not that efficient. No, it had to have been him. I'm sure of it. There must be some trick at play here. Some kind of shortcut. I must find it. Cross-examination. Oh my god, brother. Too busy for murder. Everything you said is wrong. I have no idea what you're on about. Alright, let's start getting some questions in. Surely my scenario is more plausible at this point than those panicked attempts to fix your story. What's more plausible isn't for you to decide, defense. It's the judge that makes the final call. And as long as this alibi stands, I can't imagine him siding with you. Yes, all of the loose ends have to be tied up before a decision can be made. Witness, please continue. I have an alibi for the time of the crime. I just couldn't have done it. What's your alibi? Could you explain what that alibi is again? With pleasure. At the time of the crime, I was busy preparing that day's shipments of milk. That's hard work. I barely had enough time to get them done before the courier came to take them. The shipments were inspected by the Sheikah force as they were leaving the ranch. And as our resident detective has told us, they were found to be fully loaded up with bottles of milk. That's right. The Sheikah force itself has vouched for me. There's no way I can be the culprit. Oh, I disagree. There has to be a way. There must be. Something about the tasteless milk. No way I could have completed the milk shipments, killed Talon, and tried to hide my involvement. Maybe because you didn't handle the milk shipments. Would it really have taken that long to murder someone and burn someone's clothes? It would have taken long enough to definitely make the scheme infeasible. Completing these shipments is a rather involved process. You have to milk the cows, clean the bottles, pour the milk into them, put them into crates, and load those onto the wagon. I love working with the cows, but that part takes the longest because you only get a little at a time. So as Mr. Ingo said, the whole thing really does take a while. Father and I usually have to work together to get it done in time for courier's arrival. There you go, defense. Your own client knows this is the unshakable truth. Okay, so there's no way he could complete the shipments and also do the killing. In that case, there had to be some way for him to finish the work faster. I just have to find it. The fire was made for a quick breakfast. There's no mystery there. So you had enough time for breakfast, but not enough to kill someone. Yes, of course. The breakfast was cooking while I kept working. Then I just quickly gobbled it up. There's no issue there. In fact, yes, I remember it even burned a bit because I wasn't completely paying attention to it. That's why I had to go get that glass of water, too, you see. Had to wash it down after. What a convenient little explanation. But for all I know, he actually did cook up our breakfast on a fire of burning, blood-soaked clothes. Ew. Continue, witness. We don't want to hear about your culinary adventures. Of course, of course. My point is just what I've been telling you this whole time. Stop trying to pin this on poor innocent Inigo. The only people who could have done this were you and Malin. I know Malin well enough to know she couldn't be the culprit. That leaves you as the perpetrator. Yes, by now we all know how much you value your friend. Let me remind you, though, that feelings don't matter at all here. Either show us solid evidence that puts Ingo's alibi into question or concede defeat. Is there any way you could have done the work faster? I'm not sure. It would be nice if there was, though. I could sleep in a little bit longer every day. Yeah, you'd think he would have shared it with you if you knew one. Just what shortcut did you use, Ingo? It's the watered down milk. So he went to get a glass of water and watered down the milk. But which thing do I present it on? I'm gonna say maybe this one. And the tasteless milk. Tasteless milk. Ah, but did you though? Did you really complete those shipments properly? Defense. I shouldn't have to remind you that the Sheikah Force checked the boxes thoroughly. They were definitely full of milk bottles. Oh, I'm sure it looked that way. What are you getting at, Defense? Here you go, Your Honor. Huh? Milk for me? Are you trying to bribe the judge now? I didn't think you'd stoop to so low. The Crown will be informed of this. Oh, it's nothing like that. All I'm asking is that His Honor try tasting the milk. Just one little sip. This is highly irregular. But, to be honest, I could use a drink. All the talking does make one's throat dry, you know. Bro, tell me about it. You probably talked the least out of everyone here, though. Since the defense insists, I'll go ahead and take a sip. Is this what passes for milk these days? This almost tastes like water. Water? I have to agree. This is definitely not standard milk. As we've heard from the princess and the detective, Longnon Ranch is renowned for the quality of its products. There's no way people would say that about milk this lousy. Objection. Bah, whatever. As if the unwashed masses would know the difference between quality and garbage. Where are you going with this, Defense? It's simple, you see. I received this bottle from Detective Impa, still unopened, during the first recess. As we know, there were no milk shipments today, so this must have come from one of Ingo's shipments from yesterday. Oh. It's true that Ingo couldn't have murdered Talon and also completed the shipments on his own. Unless he cheated. Ingo watered down the milk to get the shipments done in time. No way! Order. Yes, I suppose that would work. Indeed. All he had to do was milk fewer of the cows, to save enough time without ruining the taste too much. I guess he used about 50-50 split of water and milk. This is... No! Talon... Let me stop you right there. Huh? I will concede that something odd happened to that shipment. But all you have proven is that Ingo is a slacker. How dare you? Be quiet, you mongrel. Sure, Ingo watered down the milk. That doesn't make him a killer, though, does it? Well, no. But now we do know that he definitely could have done it. We know he did go to the crime scene. And we know he did have the time and opportunity to kill Talon as well. Yet there is a vital element missing still. Let me put it in simple terms, so even an idiot like you can understand. Rebuttal. The murder weapon. Oh my gosh. You lack the murder weapon. If Ingo was the murderer, then it couldn't have been the saw. If Ingo was the murderer, then it couldn't have been the saw. Wait, what do I do here? Oh. And why is that? It's simple. If the girl's story about working on the fence is true, then she was using the saw while her father was being murdered. It couldn't have been in two places at the same time. Do I agree with this? I believe we're in complete agreement on this point. You do realize the problems that creates for you, right? I'm sure it can all be explained. Ha, as if. But, very well. Then let's move on to why nothing else could have been the murder weapon either. Ingo was the murderer. Where would the supposed other murder weapon have even come from? Couldn't he have used any old thing? Either answer the question, defense, or this discussion is over. No need to overthink this. Anywhere Ingo could have gotten a weapon from will do. I'll worry about the exact details later. There's lots of things that could be used. Have you forgotten this murder happened on a ranch? There are plenty of sharp things on site. Ho ho! That's simply impossible. We checked all sharp objects on the ranch and searched everyone. No fresh blood was found anywhere else. Couldn't Ingo have just wiped it off? But Malin says she used the cloth that we do have to wipe off from hurting herself from the fence. This is a tough one. No fresh blood was found anywhere else. Oh my god. I don't know. I feel like this is gonna be another one we're getting hung up. Ingo couldn't have just disposed of it in some way? Ha! That's impossible. You see. No items on the ranch's inventory list were missing, and that list is indisputable. How can you be so sure the inventory is accurate? Bah! Use your head. There was a royal visitation scheduled for that day. The ranch owner needed everything to be in order. He would have double, even triple checked that list when he wrote it. I suppose he would have, but he didn't write the list. No items from the ranch's inventory list is missing, and that list is indisputable. But Ingo is the one that wrote the ranch inventory list. Yeah, Ingo wrote that list, not the owner. So we're gonna present that again. The inventory list itself is false. Oh, fascinating. What exactly makes you question the veracity of this document? Something about the inventory itself. It's simple. You need only a brief look at the inventory to see it can't be trusted. Oh ho. You can't just go around making such general statements, defense. Point out what exactly about the inventory makes it suspect. Take that. Just look here. The one who compiled this list was Ingo himself. He could have easily falsified the accounts as part of the plan. That doesn't matter. Ah, come on, man. Nothing could have left the ranch. So you say. Wouldn't Ingo have been able to just throw the item out over the fence? Bah, obviously we've searched the perimeter of the ranch as well. Nothing was found anywhere. This is the most important point. Has nothing really been able to leave? Has nothing really been able to leave? The milk shipments. The milk shipments left the ranch after the crime. Could have hidden it in the milk shipments. Are you really sure nothing left the ranch? What about a few little shipments of milk? Preposterous. Have you forgotten that said shipments have been checked by the Sheikah force before they were allowed to leave? That's true, but there was a place the Sheikah could have overlooked. What in din's name are you babbling about? We're talking about bog standard crates here, boy. Not exactly vast dungeons filled with nooks and crannies to stuff things into, are they? Where could they have missed a murder weapon? It's simple. They overlooked the contents. Ooh, the contents of the crates, the bottles, or the crates themselves. Crates themselves, the contents of the crates, or the contents of the bottles. The killer used a big chunk of wood to kill the victim and then nailed it to the crates to conceal it. Oh, that's not right. No, the weapon was definitely metal. No stray bit of lumber could create a wooden like that. Plus, if the weapon was wooden, he would have just burned it together with his clothes to ensure you'd never find it. Right. Defense, your entire argument hinges on this point, you know. Try to think through your answer a bit more carefully next time. All right. They overlooked the contents of the bottles? I really don't know, man. There's one place inside the crates that the Sheikah couldn't have checked thoroughly without ruining the shipments. Without ruining the shipments. Ooh, that one's doing right. That's right. Ingo put the murder weapon inside one of the bottles to conceal it from the search. That does seem plausible. Objection. Now wait just a moment. Only have one heart left. A weapon in a milk bottle wouldn't just go unnoticed. Someone would have reported it. How can you be so sure? Do you even know how much milk an average milk bar uses each day? All those shipments must have certainly been completely used up by now. Someone drinking from that bottle would have found it for sure. Choked on it even, if they took too large a swig. But it was returned. It would be a huge scandal. Well, he's right about that, but he's missing some vital information. The shipment was returned. So no one's used them yet. You would be correct that a weapon showing up in someone's milkshake would cause quite a stir. If the milk never actually made it to any milk bar, that is. You see, I overheard a very interesting tale during the recess. Word was sent from the ranch not long ago that one of the shipments was returned unopened due to being misaddressed. No. Indeed. If you recall, Ingo was the one who handled all of that. Now that's strange. The ranch supplies the same milk bars every day. Even if he had messed up the street address a little, the couriers would have known where the shipment was meant to go. How could he have bungled it that badly? It's almost as if he didn't want anyone receiving a bottle of milk with a murder weapon in it. I bet Ingo expected this box to stay in shipment limbo a little while longer. How unfortunate for him that the postal service was on his game today. Maybe because they were worried it'd start to smell. I believe this calls for us to investigate these boxes of milk more closely. Soldiers, have these boxes retrieved from the ranch immediately. Argument complete. Oh my god, brother. This is crazy. This is slander. Why would I kill Talon? Sure, he's a bit of a layabout, but he did give me a job. Why would I want him dead? The motive? That's simple. Why, I'm surprised you're even asking about it. This evidence easily explains your motive. Between the crown and the remaining employees, the inheritance. The very inheritance document you brought to the court's attention states the following. In case of the testator's death, his daughter, Malin of Lawland Ranch, will inherit the ranch, unless she is unable to oversee it, in which case it will be divided between the crown and the remaining employees. Ah. What? You not only killed Talon, but decided to frame Malin for the crime as well, so you would be the one to inherit part of the ranch. That's why you volunteered to work in the silo all day. It gave you an alibi so that Malin would be the only possible culprit. Of course you knew about the royal visitation in advance. You knew Malin would go back to the ranch house to prepare before they arrived. perfect setup for the royals to find her next to the body. No, no. What are you talking about? Talon signing the ranch over to me? Preposterous. Did he really not know? I guess it was Dragmar who procured the actual document, not him. Your Honor. What is it, soldier? The box you requested is here. Already? That was quite fast. Apparently the team at the ranch had already noticed something awry with it on their own. The box arrived just as we were about to rush out a courier to deliver our message. Well, well, well. Let's see it for ourselves then, shall we? The part of the shipment that provides my case, that proves my case is... Oh, this one. Here it is, from the bottle with a slight red tint to the milk. Looks like some kind of serrated knife. That explains the irregular wound pretty nicely. How could those Sheikah idiots have missed this? I'm sure the milk was pure white when they first checked it. It took a whole day for the blood to dissolve in it. Either way, no matter how you slice it, this proves my theory's right. Grr. Oh, I've had it. Fine, fine. You want to know why? You want to know why I really killed that scumbag? No. No. What are you... So you admit it? Yes. Yes, I admit it. What would you do if one day, after years of backbreaking labor, despite putting your all into the ranch, you were thrown away like rubbish, without any reason, fired? Farewell. We don't need you anymore. What? That doesn't make any sense. Oh ho, don't lie. I heard it all. I was just returning back from another day of spine-wrenching work, and lo and behold, what's this? Malin and Talon are talking behind my back. I heard it all. We'll let him go after the visitation. We can handle things without him. And so, after volunteering to work on that shipment, I quietly slipped out while the girl was busy and shanked the good-for-nothing slacker. Ha! You should have seen his face. He didn't expect it at all. So yes, Malin, I killed that lazy bum you called a father. And he deserved it. Dang, bro. Order. The witness will cease his boasting over such a terrible deed. I think we've heard enough. Soldiers, take him away. Wait just a moment. Ingo. Yes, girl. Want to apologize for what you've done? Apologize? Me? You're horrible. We weren't planning to fire you at all. You completely misunderstood what we were saying. What? Flashback time. Oh. We've had so much work recently. Well, you know how it goes with the royal visits. Always a busy time. Gotta make sure everything's in tip-top shape. I do worry somewhat about old Ingo, though. He's been complaining about his back recently. Do wish he'd take a step back and relax sometime. They were going to let him go on vacation or something like that. Maybe we should convince him to take a vacation. Bro, I called it. Waha. Now, there's an idea. It'd do him good to just get out for a while. I'll discuss it with him after the visitation. After things calm down, we can handle everything without him. Uh-huh. You jump to conclusions, buddy. That's... You were planning... What? A vacation for me? And I did... No, it can't be so. Please say it isn't so. Oh no. Dang, brother. We have witnessed today the results of a truly horrifying misunderstanding. But misunderstanding or not, what you have done is unforgivable. Talon was a kind man, beloved by all who had the good fortune to cross his path. His loss will be felt not only at his ranch, but all across Hyrule. The killer turned out to be an utterly pathetic man with delusions of grandeur. I mean, look at him. An utter idiot dressed like a clown. Jeez, he's really laying into him. I bet he's just upset because he lost. Prosecution's rant aside, I think it is time to declare today's verdict. This is just a formality, but will the defendant please step up to the stand? Young miss, I am very sorry for the situation you have found yourself in. I'm very glad you appear to have such a good attorney as a friend. I wouldn't have chosen anyone else. Aw, thanks. Now then, without further ado, in the name of the goddess Hylia and the sacred land of Hyrule, I hereby find Malon of Lon Lon Ranch. Why do I feel like there's going to be another twist? Not guilty. Or not. Court is adjourned. March 17th, 12:32 p.m. Hyrule Grand Court, Defendant Lobby number 3. We did it. I suppose so. I guess Ingo's outburst kind of soured the mood, huh? I don't think I can ever forgive Mr. Ingo for what he's done. That's fair enough, honestly. Really, though, you shouldn't think about that for now. You're free. It's time to celebrate. I guess you're right. Excellent work. I knew you'd pull through. Oh, thanks. I couldn't have done it without you, really. So, thank you. Now, that's quite right. That's quite right. If you want to thank someone... Wait, what did she say? That's not quite right. Okay. If you want to thank someone, I'm not the one who deserves it the most. Huh? Your Highness? I thought you were going back to Hyrule Castle. What strings did Impa have to pull to get her here? But I realized I should apologize for what I did personally. It's an honor. There is no need to bow, not after what I've done. Really, if not for my status, I would have probably been carted off to prison alongside that angry little man. Perjury's pretty serious, so that's probably not entirely wrong. As usual, you don't give yourself enough credit, Your Highness. How can you say that, Detective? I almost condemned an innocent person to prison. Yes, there are some things you should think twice about doing in the future. But it's all thanks to you that the young lady here finally went free. Huh? Come on, attorney, show Her Highness what I'm talking about. Show Her Highness what I'm talking about. Was it the bottle? She gave us the bottle, right? The bottle. Well, it's true. Without this, and without knowing about the fire, we wouldn't have any proof to substantiate our claims. And, really, your obviously false testimony helped us a lot. Youch! Impa just stepped on my foot. Well, there you have it. In any case, I'm sure Miss Malon isn't too upset. Well, sure. Ten Hut? We have orders to escort the princess back to the castle immediately. Just in time. Farewell, Your Highness. And so they left. Now then, listen to me. I know that I am perhaps being too lenient on the princess, but tough times are ahead. The princess will need all the confidence she can get to lead the kingdom through them. She needs to learn to take responsibility for actions too, though. And she will. Huh? Her Highness is in for a rather unpleasant afternoon today, I imagine. The urgency with which she has just been escorted out of here isn't coincidental. What, is the king going to scold her? At the very least. Now then. My duties call, unfortunately, so I must be off. Again, you did well today, both of you. I trust that I will be able to rely on you in the future court proceedings as well. I'll try my best. That's all I ask. That unpleasant prosecutor seems to be making his way over here, so I'll be excusing myself post-haste. Farewell. Uh-oh. You! Hello. Nice day we're having, isn't it? Tell me, now, where did that blasted detective go? To have my reputation tarnished this way by some novice attorney from the boonies. Dramatic much? He looks about ready to burst from anger. Don't be such a sore loser. You lost. Deal with it. Yeah, we got the right verdict. Doesn't that make you even a little bit glad? Yes, I suppose there is some worse than that. What transpired is most unfortunate. I can only offer my condolences. Just remember that it was the meddling of that idiotic princess and the stupidity of that blasted detective that led to your arrest. So if you have any grievances, take it up with them. I suppose there is some truth in what he's saying. Speaking of the detective, it appears she has fled from me like a cuckoo on fire. Mark my words, she will regret what she's done for generations. Well, that sure was something. I don't know if he was being sincere or just wanted to shift blame onto someone else. I wouldn't say he's entirely blameless. Never mind that. Do you think you'll be alright running the ranch by yourself? Of course I'll come to visit, but I have my attorney duties too. I'll get in touch with the castle, see if they can spare some men to work at the ranch. Silly as my father may have seemed, he really did prepare me to take over one day, and he's taught me well. I'll make sure the animals are well cared for, just as I always have. That's the spirit. I believe in you. I really want to thank you for bringing the truth to light. If it wasn't for you, I don't even want to think about what could have happened. Don't mention it. I'm just glad everything worked out in the end. And so ended a very personal case for me. It felt like a weight had been lifted off my back. Malin continued working at the ranch, hoping to make it prosper even beyond what her father was able to accomplish. I didn't really think much about it, but the days following were some of the happiest I'd lived for a long time. Little did I know that a terrible tragedy would soon shock the entire kingdom, and I'd find myself smack dab in the middle of it. But that's a legend for another day. A legend for another day. Highlighted in red. Bro. Hero of the law. That was so cool. Project lead Scawo. Scawo? Scawo. I'm not sure how you're supposed to say that. Great job. Great job. That was amazing. My voice is shot though. Scenario. Scawo, Fast Freak, Roadrunner, WMC, Luigi X Hero, Meatball 132. That might have been the most unique ROM hack that I've seen yet. Scene modeling Luigi X Hero, Fast Freak, Scawo. So this team. Let's pay attention here and see if there's anything that goes on. Character modeling, Unga. Jimbo Slim, Scawo, Luigi. The music was really well done. I loved the remixes of like the typical OOT tracks. Who that's supposed to be? Character animation. Is that an Ace Attorney reference that I don't know? I've never played an Ace Attorney game. Like I said in the beginning, I know of them and I know the general premise of it. 2D art, Jimbo Slim, Snake Block, and Fast Freak. I know the general premise of it, but I've never ever played an Ace Attorney game. Ingo, man. Roadrunner WMC, Scawo programming. Who's in there with him? It's like a reskin of the sleeping dude in adult Keck. Music, Roadrunner, WMC, Meatball 132. Ganondorf tickling the keys. Tool programming, wow. No copyrights, useless forms, Dragorn, 1464 tools. I'm trying to pay attention to the cutscene, so if I don't read off all the names, then don't hate me. Zelda. She's getting a scolding from her father. And shattered the letters off the screen. That was cool. Created using OOT NPC Maker. Yep, she lowers her head and walks away. Hey, Detective Impa. Cool little office in CAC. Huh. That's actually really cool. This was very well made and thought out and planned and written. Special thanks. Oh, is that like Talon's grave? I mean, it's still like a horrible thing. Like her father was killed and dead now. Special thanks, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time staff. And mushrooms next to his grave. Poor Talon. And you for playing. The end. Wow. Is there anything else? Is this the screen we get stuck on forever till the end of time? Oh, I must be able to press A. Oh. Scene select is now unlocked. Extra 1 is now unlocked. What? Oh. Intro scene before the trial. Oh, wow. Extra 1. Meanwhile, somewhere else. What is this? Super Talon game. What? Press start. Move, run, jump. What? Oh my gosh. Get out of it. Oh no. Retry. So I have like a Mario type game here. I have time left. Oh my gosh. All right, this is a little weird to adjust to playing. Let's try that again. Yo, what? I didn't expect there to be like a game in here. I mean, the whole thing was a game, but like a mini game of some speak. Okay. Oh boy. Oh man. Oh, my platforming skills to the test here. And we do have a time limit, so we can't dawdle forever. Ugh. What is that? Can we wall jump? Oh, what? Oh, I see. Oh my gosh, that's hard to... Okay, so you have to be pressing in the direction that you want to... Oh my god, oh no! Okay, this is kind of hard. Retry. I'm gonna start all the way back at the beginning, god dang it. I don't want to save state this. Just gotta get used to the movements. Just watch that shadow, even though there's not one on the moving platforms. Okay. There we go. Okay. Oh my god. Did we win? Course clear. Wow, I really needed one of these. Thanks. In return, I'll tell you about a secret I've heard. Supposedly, there's a game with a giant egg in which you can become a criminal. And a pair of games with climate change and time travel. They say that extras can be unlocked by connecting them on the title screen using a certain accessory. Now, I don't know what that means, but I'm sure you can figure it out. See ya. I have no idea what he's talking about. An extra accessory? Well, I'm gonna have to consult with some others to figure out what exactly that means, because this has been a long butt video and I have no idea what that's talking about. Maybe if I do figure it out, we can do like a little bonus episode or something like that, going over what it is. But that was very, very cool. I loved that a lot. I've never played an Ace Attorney game, but now I kind of want to, because it was very fun, like piecing together everything. Even though I got hung up really bad in that one spot, I did pretty much get through it, you know, and figure it out eventually in certain spots. But that one really hung me up with the his clothes being in the picture. That was like probably the most duh one of them all, because that picture, hello, I didn't think to go back to that. But Hero of Law, very cool. That was, I didn't see that coming. I mean, I woke up this morning and I was like, wait, what? A new Romhack? I'm seeing people talk about it. I'm like, what? Excuse me? Let's try it out. So, like I said, maybe if I figure out what that bit Talon was talking about means, maybe we'll do a bonus episode on it. But for now, that was the main game, and we finished it. So, long video. Hope you guys enjoy, and hopefully my voice did not annoy you guys for 3 hours, because I read every single piece of dialogue that came through. I mean, I could have not read it and let you guys read it for yourself, but I don't really know how that should have gone, but so I just read everything. So hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to see more stuff like this, make sure you drop a comment, tell me what you think, subscribe to see more, and I'll catch you in the next video, whatever that is. This one was impromptu, so I'll see you later, I guess. Take care.